Are you searching for a deeper understanding of your faith?
Inspiring Philosophy is your go-to resource for exploring the rich tapestry of Christian thought.
From biblical archaeology to philosophy of mind, we dive into the topics that matter.
Our content bridges faith and understanding, offering insights into God's existence and the reliability of the New Testament.
Join a community where faith meets reason and discover the answers you've been seeking.
Inspiring Philosophy, where faith meets understanding. Well, the Islamic Dilemma remains undefeated, boys. Yeah. I'll tell you, that was amazing. David Wood clobbered Daniel in that debate. Daniel had no idea what he was doing. Oh boy, that was enjoyable to watch.
Pretty easy victory. Pretty easy victory. It was embarrassing how Daniel went off topic for a lot of his opening. When he addressed the topic, it was terrible. It was pretty bad. It was easy. It was just really easy.
Wasn't that awesome? He's like, we have said it. David said it. Lots of us who have talked about the Islamic Dilemma have said it. It is probably the best argument. It is undefeated. It is a very solid. I personally think it is the best argument, and I credit lots of these people, including David and Sam Shimon and others, for designing it and making it so powerful, more powerful. And you see how the Muslims cannot counter it. Daniel Haqiqatjou, we were wondering why in the world he would even accept such a debate topic, considering that he's not really great in discussing theology and all that. So
yeah,
and what he did was to deviate from the topic, to start by attacking Christianity instead, and then with the second debate he completely went off the rails. It's amazing. It's a great day for it's a very bad day for Islam, and a great day for the opponents of Islam, and a very great day for Christianity.
It was something, I'll tell you. Daniel then, he got cooked in that first debate, claimed victory as the Dawagandists like to do, and then started his second debate with his whole argument being, I will rant about the Jews for a couple hours, and this will be my argument. Because the second debate, if you don't know, they had, which less people saw, was who respects Jesus more, Christians or Muslims? And Daniel's strategy was, okay, here's my strategy, guys. All right, I'm going to point out the Jews say mean things about Jesus, and who hates the Jews more? Well, us Muslims do. So clearly, we like Jesus more because we hate people who disrespect Jesus more. Like, what an asinine argument for that is. I mean, like, if you read anything in the Gospels anywhere, like Jesus says, love your enemies. And like David did a really good job sticking to the debate topic and not going down Daniel's insane conspiracies like the communist Bolsheviks were Jews. And man, that was that. Did you watch that, Avery? The second one?
I didn't watch the second one. I didn't watch it. I've heard about it though. So it's
insane. Absolutely insane. Just so you guys wonder where David is, he is going to join us in a little bit. He is driving back from Virginia today, so he said he had to take care of some things, but he's going to jump in here in a little bit, so hang tight. We're going to get the reigning champs opinion on everything that happened in there and what happened behind the scenes. AP, I thought you were supposed to be there for the debate.
I was. The thing is, I initially only planned to join for the first and second day, but eventually I was planning on joining for the entire thing and also staying there for the debate and also personally meeting and greeting Daniel Haqiqatjou and giving him some gifts and getting his autograph and stuff like that. But then I had lots of things come up, so I couldn't really stay. I had to leave early.
Tis a shame. I want to get into some of his arguments here and just point out, like, Daniel, at best, like, Daniel relied heavily on Surah 279. Like, that was his main argument, because it says, woe to those who write the scriptures with their own hands, then say this is from Allah in order to exchange it for a small price. Woe to them for what their hands have written, and woe to them for what they have earned. And this was his big argument, that the Christians have corrupted the scriptures. The only problem was if he was right, at best, he just showed the Quran is helplessly contradictory, because then it just says, like, as David pointed out, just like 6 verses later, that the Jews are supposed to use all of the Torah. You still have Surah 5 that Avery was just talking about this afternoon. I was watching a bit of your stream. Brilliant. You were doing Surah 547. At best, if Daniel's right, he just shows the Quran hopelessly contradicts itself, because Surah 2 would contradict Surah 5, Surah 7. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what's the most awesome thing was during the second debate, which honestly, listening to it, it did make me quite angry initially. It made my blood boil, especially toward the end. It did, because I really just wanted to jump in and say something, because he did just what somebody like him does, what an Islamist like him does. He set up a debate topic. He is the one who proposed the topic. Does Christianity or Islam respect Jesus, or present Jesus more respectfully, or something like that? And then he went into it completely deviating from the topic on purpose, which he also admitted, and talking about Jews instead, in order to somehow trick David and expose him before the audience or something like that. Is this a method that would be acceptable in, like, Christian morality? It wouldn't. It's not.
Yeah, no.
Is it a method that is completely fine, completely acceptable in Islamic morality? Yes, it is. Because it is in Christianity, this kind of thinking, this kind of trickery is more likely to be associated with the devil, like with Satan, with something satanic. And he just goes for that immediately and spends 20 minutes ranting about Jews and the Talmud and all that, instead of talking about the actual topic. And basically says Islam is good. Islam respects Jesus more because Jews.
Yeah, that's the guy we're dealing with. This is the one who's going to solve the Islamic dilemma, folks. Someone who can't even get basic history right. But Chris, you've been quiet. What were your thoughts on the debate overall?
The debate overall was amazing. I think David did really, really well. I think he presented the classic case for the Islamic dilemma, and Daniel kind of borrowed things from other people that I don't think he really thought about or like critically examined. And then just kind of presented it and went, there you go. General confirmation, it confirms in some weird way that no one quite understands. And that's good enough. And then David was like, no, it's not. And then he didn't really have anything other more to say. So it went really well.
I loved in David's opening, he said, now I'm going to use the same arguments that I've been using. So Daniel has a great opportunity to be very prepared and to refute everything that I have to say. And by the way, I have no idea what points he's going to bring. I have no idea in predicting what he's going to say. So he's more prepared for my argument than I am for his. I loved that. But what disappointed me is that there was no cross-examination. Why are there these debates happening without a cross, man?
Hey, did you notice as well? He was sneaky because he asked David some questions during his rebuttal. He was like, "Now, David, let me ask you a question." And I'm thinking, hang on a sec.
Yep.
Is this like a crossover boy, or is he just doing this? And from what I remember, he did it to David, but David didn't really do it to him. So I was like, it's been sneaky.
Yeah.
And then he asked another question. David was going to respond. He's like, no, you can respond to that later, not now.
Well, he tried to in his we'll get to it. I want to play that clip, but in the third rebuttal period, or the second rebuttal, technically, he starts trying to ask David questions, and I think that backfired because David actually used that time for his advantage.
Yeah.
And it backfired for Daniel. So he immediately shut it down because I think he realized it wasn't going where he thought it was. And we'll play that in a bit here for sure, because that was
the hilarious thing is, and I'm sure we're going to review it, but the hilarious part is that he demonstrated that he doesn't even understand the debate topic. He doesn't even understand the Islamic dilemma. He doesn't even know how to respond to it.
Yeah, that was funny. Somebody in the comment section said Daniel didn't know he doesn't know what the Islamic dilemma is.
Yeah.
That's what they said in the comments. I was dying. Like, yeah.
He actually prepared for a debate, but he didn't study or even bother understanding, or just didn't understand because he's, I don't know, I don't want to say it, but because he just didn't understand the Islamic dilemma.
Yeah, I mean, the comments are just on David's side for sure. I mean, like, it's just, the Islamic dilemma made me leave Islam. This debate proved I wasn't wrong in doing so. This is something. I can't believe people are still listening to the guy that thinks PDF is okay. Yeah. Let's not forget that debate I had with Daniel, my debate with Daniel Haqiqatjou, he will have to deal with for the rest of his life, because it really exposed how dark his interpretation of Islam is. There will be clips from that debate he will have to deal with in 10, 20, 30 years, because
I was thinking this
so much.
Like, imagine if he ever, Lord willing, leaves Islam. He's gonna have such a he's so far in Islam that if he ever stepped out to the rest of the world, he's just a guy that defended child marriage and he's like did all these horrendous things. So man, it's gonna be hard for him.
There's only one way, man, to get that slate wiped clean, man.
Yeah, could you imagine? That'd be a powerful testimony if Daniel Haqiqatjou came out of that, converted to Christianity, and was like, guys, Islam made me defend child marriage. Look at how Jesus has redeemed me. This is that would be a powerful testimony.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what the funny thing is to me? I pointed this out yesterday as well. I reviewed part of the debate and talked about it yesterday. But during the second debate, one of his big gotcha moments was going to be, apparently he prepared these questions about Jews for David. And his number one question was, so can you say here, are Jews saved or not? And he will not say it. He will not say it because he doesn't want to anger his Jewish Zionist donors. And David just goes, there is no salvation outside, only through Jesus. So he clearly says it, and then Daniel doesn't get it, and he's like, well, see, he didn't answer the question, so he cannot say whether Jews are saved or not. And David says it again, and then he just looks.
See,
like
this was the problem. AP is Daniel was running the Dawah script, and when David went off the script, he didn't know what to do, so he just kept following the script. There's nothing you can do when you're a Dawah-gandist other than just keep following the Dawah script. That's all you can do.
He did this in the first debate as well. Like he tried the same thing, but if you don't know what your opponent's position is, why on earth do you think you can do stuff like that? Because if you don't know what he's going to say, what are you doing? It's just
right.
Gotta follow that Dawah script here. So thank you, Norm. In anticipation for all the sneezing on the stream, I'd like to say bless you. So bless you too. Hit that like button. Everyone hit that like button right now. We would appreciate that. The potato chips are back in business. Is that us? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Potato.
New challenge. Every minute that you're late, double the number, and that's how many push-ups you have to do. Okay, fine. I'll do 10. You got it. I can do 60 if I wanted to. I could do 10 push-ups with Avery on my back.
That's right. He's done it before, guys.
What's the injeel? What's the injeel?
What's the injeel?
That is did Daniel actually give us an explanation of what the injeel is? Because
he didn't even mention the injeel. He mentioned the Bible, which I thought was interesting.
But in the second debate, he brought it up. He at one point he's like, okay, you say that the Gospels teach Jesus died, was crucified, and rose. Well, no, the Injeel doesn't teach that because it aligns with Islam. Like he said that in the second debate, so he kind of like started going off on the Injeel. I'm going to try to find that here because he brought it up and he actually tried to use that as part of his argument that no, that can't be that's not what Jesus taught because that's not in the actual Injeel. And I'm like, wait a minute, how do you know it's in the Injeel? Like, what are you talking about, Daniel? Like, you don't have the Injeel. So yeah, I'm going to try to find that in the second debate because that was interesting.
He
There's
also
12 push-
I don't know if you saw that part, but when I had my question asked, Leaf was very good enough and kind enough to ask my question and do it in my voice at the debate, and it was L who delivered the question to him. But my question was about Paul's statement in Romans about Jesus being God over all, and so I had a long question along those lines asked. Daniel Haqiqatjou's response was that, well, obviously, we don't believe, those words. We don't know if those words that are attributed to Jesus are actually true or not. The question was about Romans, about Paul's statements in Romans, and he responded with, "We don't know if those quotes attributed to Jesus are true or not. He doesn't understand what the New Testament is."
Here's Daniel going over the injeel that I mentioned.
But it's not very compelling. You say that, also to keep in mind, like Jesus did not teach the crucifixion. The injeel doesn't teach the crucifixion. The injeel, the gospel that the Quran is confirming, as we discussed in the previous debate, is not expansive with the New Testament.
Prove it.
Let's make that clear. You asked, why is
Daniel, what is the injeel?
What is it? Thank you for telling us what it's not, Daniel. Tell us what it is now, buddy. What is it, man? We've been asking it all over the country, all over the world now, man. Still no answer.
And I don't get, how are we supposed to judge by that if we have never had it, we don't have it, we have no evidence in the historical record it ever existed? How are we supposed to follow what Allah commands of us Christians in Surah 5 if this mysterious injeel is just nowhere?
Yeah, that's wild.
This is so he brought that up, and it was I was like, he never really actually explained what the injeel was. He kind of hinted in the prior debate. He said, like, yeah, it's kind of like preserved in the Bible or in the Gospels or in the New Testament, I guess. And that's why we don't disrespect the Bible. And of course, the audience erupted and started like shouting at him. Chris, you covered this on your channel a little bit today, didn't you?
What?
Yeah.
The crowd reacted?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Crowd reacted. Yeah. It was pretty amazing. I can't believe he actually turned to the audience and went, "Hey, audience, you let me know. Have you guys ever seen this?" And I'm like, what are you doing? You've gone to a Christian conference and you're asking them, "Guys, do you know of any like Muslims who may have, destroyed or did anything bad with the Bible?" I'm willing to bet the answer is no. And it's like, wait, what? It's
Genius.
I don't know why he was thinking doing this, but hey.
It was, man, he did it. It did not, let's just say it backfired for sure. I'm trying to find that one because he tried to do that. This was during the actual Q&A here. I think I'm a little bit off, but it's somewhere around here because I remember he said something like autistic, and like I was like, dude, did you really just call the audience autistic? Like,
He started fighting. He started fighting with the audience quite a few times.
Yeah, let me see if I can find this here.
And then he says, "James, I'm in a hostile environment. I'm like, I am disadvantaged."
He was a victim. What comes before me, Baina Yadayha, or according to David's interpretation, what comes between my two hands? This is what Jesus is saying. I confirm it, Minat Tawrat, from the Torah, right? So he's confirming the Torah, and then in the same verse he says, "Obey me." So this is the Quran explaining to someone like you or someone like David that you confirm something, but still there's another higher authority that has come to replace that. And that is exactly the authority of the Quran over the previous scripture for the reasons that are mentioned in the Quran. They have fabricated, they have distorted, they have twisted, whether textually or orally. All of these verses you have to take in context, not to have a kind of autistic understanding like, oh, Ba'd. Do you know what Ba'd means? Ba'd, where does it say that in the verse? This is an autistic reading of the Quran, not a holistic reading of the Quran.
Oh, wow.
So that obviously doesn't work, because if we're going to take a holistic reading of the Quran, then we have to, it's contradicting itself, because you take Daniel's interpretation of Surah 350, you take Daniel's interpretation of Surah 279. Daniel nowhere in this debate gives you a reasonable explanation of what Surah 568 is saying, what Surah 2946, what Surah 1094 is saying. He doesn't actually even try to address those.
Yeah.
So if you're taking a holistic approach, the Quran is hopelessly contradictory. If, and I mean only if, his interpretation of those select verses is right.
I also don't understand how autistic is the opposite of holistic.
I kind of want this to be like inscribed on his gravestone. Just Daniel Haqiqatjou, holistic, not autistic, or something like this. Apparently, that's the hill he wants to die on. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta find that place where he actually started saying, "I'm in a hostile environment." It was like crazy. Like people were started yelling at him. Maybe I gotta find it here, but I do want to address this whole issue of him and going to Surah 3. This is one of his big arguments that he wanted to go to, which was in Surah 350, where Jesus is speaking in the Quran. Have you heard this one before, Avery, on any of your debates?
That what?
Surah 350 to get out of the Islamic dilemma.
No one's ever brought up 350 to get out of the Islamic dilemma.
I have no idea what he was even doing with that.
Yeah,
I have to be honest.
I couldn't believe it.
This was incredible. Here it is.
Apologists claim that the Quran confirming the Bible is a total validation of every word of the Bible, but there's one verse that completely destroys this argument.
One verse.
It's Quran 350, where Jesus speaks to the Jews and says, I, meaning Jesus, have come to confirm the truth of the Torah which preceded me and to make some things lawful to you which used to be forbidden. I have come to you with a sign from your Lord. Fear God and obey me. This verse is significant because it uses the same construction that the Islamic Dilemma people cite, musaddiqan lima bayna yaday. Christian apologists mention every verse with musaddiqan lima bayna yaday, but they skip this one for some reason. They conveniently skip it because it destroys
We
their
skip
entire
it.
I love that verse.
Didn't that verse start off with Jesus saying that he confirms the Torah?
Yes. I love that verse. I use it all the
Yeah,
time.
me too.
When they try to say that the Torah in Jesus' time was corrupted, that's chapter 3 verse 50 says he came confirming that Torah.
Mhm.
You know,
fact-
along with chapter 5 verse 46. So it's like, bro, what?
A while ago, I asked David to send me his list of all the Quran verses that he brings up for the Islamic dilemma. I will now check here for a second if this is one of the verses that he lists.
Now,
Here's the verse. And this is his argument. Woe to those who write the scriptures with their own hands, then say this is from Allah in order to exchange it. Oh, no, sorry, I'm at the wrong one. I'm thinking of a different one. I was going to get to that in a bit. 350. I pulled up the wrong link there. I'll just put this up. So, and I will confirm the Torah revealed before me and legalize some of what has been forbidden to you. I have come to you with a sign from your Lord. So be mindful of Allah and obey me. And Daniel's basic argument was like, well, he's confirming the Torah, but he's abrogating or legalizing some things. So therefore, this is proof the Quran can come and change things. And like abrogate things apparently in the prior scriptures.
I think what he's kind of missed is abrogation isn't the problem here. It's things that can't be abrogated that are different. So the theology of God, like his nature, his attributes, cannot change.
Yeah.
But the Quran presents a different picture than what's found in the previous scriptures. But for some reason, he thinks he can make this analogous with like legal commands. And hence he's like, hey, look, you see, Jesus, he legalized some of the stuff. That means he changed it. That means that there are other authorities. But again, it doesn't help if, your previous scriptures talk about God being triune or talk about God being a father in a real spiritual sense. And then your scripture comes along and goes, no, actually, no, that's not true.
Was he also using this to argue like a total confirmation, Jesus confirms the Torah, but also changes some things in the Torah. So therefore, he's not confirming the whole Torah because he's changing some of it. Was that all? Was that where he was getting at?
That's what he was trying to get at. Yeah, he was trying to say that, he confirms the Torah, but confirm, you're equivocating on confirm, David, because confirm can just be confirming the general aspects, not every single strict detail. Because look, Jesus confirms the Torah, but he changes some things and he makes some things that were forbidden to you legal. And that was his argument. Now David had a brilliant response to this because he just sort of blew this out of the water. And then I want to add a point to this. David had a great response, though.
3 minutes. Thank you, James. So Daniel concluded with Surah 3, verse 50, saying that, well, Jesus said he confirmed the Torah between his hands, and yet he said he was coming to change things. Yeah, that's called abrogation in Islam. If you're going to say abrogation, you abrogate a verse. If that means the other verse had been corrupted, well, great. There are verses in the Quran that abrogate other verses, and therefore the Quran's been. Thank you, Daniel.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's why he that man. That's why he's that man, because that was quick. That was quick, man. Yeah, that's good.
But also, I mean, like that with Daniel's comparison to Surah 350, here's his main problem: is the Quran does not do this same thing. In Surah 547 to 48, Surah 568, it doesn't say things like, use the gospel, Christians, but I'm going to change some things for you. I'm going to legalize some things for you, and you'll know what that is with the Quran.
Right.
Allah doesn't do this kind of this maneuver that you see here, that what Daniel's saying here with Christians in the Quran. He just says, use the gospel. You're about to be different communities. Use that. Yep. You're good. Yep. So, Daniel actually is taking the context here and assuming that goes in Surah 5. So his whole argument falls flat when you see that. Like, it's not even a good comparison.
Yeah, that's bad. That's pretty bad. He shot himself in the foot with that one. That's if you're gonna say abrogation proves that the previous scripture is corrupted, the previous verse is corrupted, that's bye Quran. That's good.
He didn't even further explain why he brought it up, right? I mean, it was just that. So
yeah, no, like in depth.
What a dumb.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Nothing. It was all ridiculous. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, Alfred. He says he's enjoying a hookah on my porch, ready to watch you guys catch Daniel Pikachu in a Pokeball and never let him out.
It's very racist.
It's very Islamophobic of you, sir.
Yeah, very Islamophobic.
Pokephobic.
Thoughts on Soren Kierkegaard and existentialism? Yeah, I don't think it's the best approach for Christians, is what I would say. Michael Jones, are you secretly just a Christian version of Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreation? You hold to libertarianism, capitalism, you're a grumpy cat and love whiskey. Coincidence? Yeah, my wife has told me my personality is a combination of Ron Swanson and Deadpool. So, yes,
very nice.
It's pretty accurate, I have to say, Vermin. You kind of got me. You got a good description of me there pretty well, I'd say. Yes. I'm a real doctor because previous doctors say I'm a doctor, but the other doctors say you're not a doctor. Well, that's not really doctors. That's kind of how they respond to the Islamic Dilemma with this sort of nonsense.
Yeah.
You know what's the funniest thing about the funniest thing to me is that during the debate, Daniel keeps quoting Jesus in the Quran and quoting what that Jesus said he actually accepts and all that, as if the Jesus of the Quran, who is not even Jesus, was an authority that anybody outside of Islam could take seriously. It is obviously a made-up character designed after Christian beliefs, after the Christian belief in Jesus, and he actually wants to tell us, he actually wants to bring us the Quran as an authority on what Jesus said and did not say.
Yeah. The solution to the Islamic dilemma is simple. Jews corrupt things. Jesus got the injeel. Jesus is a Jew. Conclusion: Jesus corrupted the injeel. We got.
And he could write as well, So.
Dawah Troll wants us to know the Islamic dilemma has been debunked by the declining level of Christianity. I was disappointed that Daniel didn't promote the mikmuta meals with some juice to help with Muslim cope. That was how Daniel started his opening statement. All these Christians are leaving Christianity to become Muslim because they see how powerful our Dawah is. You see?
You see?
Oh, you see? Oh my gosh! I was like, I couldn't believe he had did that. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, that doesn't even deal with the issue here. But yeah, he just wanted to try to do that.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Did anything besides 350? Because 350 was a new object. I've never seen that before. I've never seen anybody try that.
I don't think you're likely going to see it again.
Right, exactly. Was there anything else that stood out of Daniel's approach or his points? Was there something different from what we've seen, dealing with this?
That's the thing. So go
Go
ahead.
on, AP.
Yeah, you go. I wouldn't.
Okay.
dare.
No.
Such-
It's one of my
such-
specialities
no.
to like talk as
Yo,
soon as other people
just
start
want everyone to
talking.
know the reigning champ is
Ah.
here.
There
he
you go.
is. There he is.
Eliminator.
Yo, how's everyone doing?
In the
Very
house.
good.
What's up, man?
That was
What's up?
That was amazing double 2 KO victory on your part there.
Congrats.
It was incredible.
$20 says you didn't see Sir 350 coming.
That's true. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys, I've been pretty much completely out of commission for like 6 or 7 weeks. Have been able to get absolutely nothing. It's like the dumbest thing in the world. I sleep during the day. We have new neighbors who have a dog who barks all day right outside my window. So I sleep in like 20-minute increments, and I basically got nothing done for 6 weeks. I would do live streams just to get myself out of bed. So I was getting nothing done. I had no debate preparation for the second one, 0 debate preparation, which was convenient because he didn't cover anything I was expecting him to cover. And for the first debate, I basically prepared my opening statement and my PowerPoint, and then prepared basically for a couple of anticipated responses. For the second one, I just pulled up a couple of slides from a couple other PowerPoints that I just used, and I tossed them all in, and that's what I used for my opening statement. That's why, like, for the first debate, you can tell I'm actually going through a script. For the second one, I'm just speaking off the slides I was going to, and it was funny because I didn't remember what I had coming up, because I was just like, I was doing it in between the break, but between the debates, in the break between debates, I'm sitting there like tossing in slides and stuff like that. So anyway, yep. Interesting stuff.
Man, but despite that, you treated him the way he would treat a 6-year-old. So.
Ouch. That was, man, AP, not even holding back. That was, dude. What were you even expecting with the second debate? Because the first one, it's gonna be Islamic Dilemma. I'm sitting here thinking before the debate,
man.
What on earth is Daniel going to try to argue that say that Muslims respect Jesus more? I thought we were going to get the standard, well, we pray with our faces down on the ground and just like Jesus did. And then his whole argument was, well, the Jews are mean to Jesus. We hate the Jews more than the Christians. Therefore, we respect Jesus more.
David, what was going through your head during his opening statement?
Oh, that was actually, so I'll answer both. So IP asked what I was expecting. I had no clue, because he suggested that. So I suggested Islamic Dilemma, and he gave me a list of a couple topics he suggested, and a couple of them were like political topics. I'm like, this is a Christian apologetics conference. So the one that was most relevant to Christian apologetics was, again, his suggestion, which religion respects Jesus more? I'm trying to think, like, what could you possibly be, like, what are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking at all? So I had to think he's got something up his sleeve, but I was just thinking he's either going to be the standard, you believe Jesus is God, but you believe he's born and he went to the bathroom and he ate food and and we respect him because we just believe he's a man and did these things, or something like that. So I was thinking something along those lines, or maybe you believe Jesus is God, therefore you believe that he's the God of the Old Testament, and therefore I'll just complain about the Old Testament the entire time. And I was thinking, that's not going to work right after a debate on the Islamic Dilemma, because, I mean, at the very least, he would have confirmed the Torah between his hands according to the Quran, and therefore he would be affirming the Old Testament. So how wouldn't that be disrespectful if you're going to attack the Old Testament? So anyway, I was thinking one of those. I was not expecting him just who cares about the topic, and I'm just going to go off on Israel the entire time. So yeah, that's that was totally out of nowhere. Had no idea, which is weird because, again, like for the first debate, and I said it, he knew exactly what I was going to bring up. I didn't change anything from, and here, oh, by the way, matter of fact, I messaged Chris. I said, I'm just going to use the classic case. There's a reason, right? There's all sorts of new stuff, right? There are more advanced cases. It'll still involve a lot of the same verses and so on. Those are a lot of the go-to verses, but there's so much more. They have no idea. There's way more. We had no idea until we started going verse by verse. Like, this is everywhere. I mean, it's all over the place. So there can be much bigger, much more sophisticated cases for the Islamic Dilemma. But I'm like, okay, I don't actually want to catch him off guard on anything. I will give him the exact same thing I've been arguing. Let's see if they've come up with a good answer to that. He knows what I'm arguing. I have no clue what he's arguing. He could catch me off guard with some brand new response. And yeah, Surah 350, man.
350, man.
350.
Hey, so my impression during the debate is that he didn't even really understand the Islamic dilemma. Do you think that too, or do you think he just wanted to deflect?
Maybe because it's like, who said it earlier? Was it Jai and DOC? Because me and Anthony were listening to their live stream on the way down. He kind of stated it right, but then his responses to it are all wrong based on what the argument is. And again, I'm not sure where I heard it. Someone said this today. It might have been Jai or DOC, but I think it was like, you kind of learn to parrot what the other person is saying without understanding. Yeah, matter of fact, I think it was. He said, it's like when a Muslim hears a Christian define the Trinity over and over again, and they can say what the definition of the Trinity is. So they say, "Oh, one in being and three in person," but then when they go on to attack, it's clear they don't understand what you're saying. So anyway, like I think he defined it pretty well, but then his response, he seemed to think. Like who else did this recently where they were interpreting it as an attempt to defend the Bible? It's not an attempt to defend the Bible. Like, this is a problem with the Quran, is a problem with Islam and a problem with the Quran. And it doesn't matter what the status of the Bible is because it's what your book is claiming. And so, yeah, I don't think he understood it very well.
It's an internal critique. This is why we have said long ago, it doesn't matter. If you want to make this argument, it doesn't even matter whether you believe in the Bible or not, whether you're a Christian or not, whether you're a Jew or not. It doesn't matter at all. This is an internal problem within Islam. It points out the internal inconsistencies, the internal contradictions, the ignorance of Islam itself. This is the issue. So deflecting with the Bible and all that is just completely besides the point. It's useless.
Yeah. And it's really interesting here because I have to say, for years, so we've been using the Islamic Dilemma. I mean, me probably since like 2006, 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. I know because I didn't use it with Nabil because I didn't know about it, and it wasn't like you see the verses here and there, but you're not putting it together, and you're still kind of assuming, like Muslims do, that if you see a verse confirming the Bible, you're still thinking, oh, it's like confirming the originals or something like that, and there's other stuff in there somewhere. Just because you hear it so constantly, you hear it all the time, that the Bible's been corrupted according to Islam. You're thinking, oh, somewhere in there, it's in there. So I didn't use that with Nabil. It wasn't until after he became a Christian, I was like, my goodness, I wish I'd known that. I wish I'd known that when he's attacking the Bible, that, hey, you're actually attacking your own God and your own prophet when you attack the Bible. But for years, almost no one responds to it. They just dismiss it. These idiots think the Quran affirms the Bible, and that's all they say. And they don't really go into detail as to, in detailed responses. So it's always in your head when you're using this argument that maybe someone's going to come along and give a good response, right? Maybe once a really smart person focuses attention, goes through the Quran, goes through the commentaries, goes through the Hadith, they're going to come back with some really good response. And so back when Sam debated Khalil Andani on it, I was thinking, okay, if anyone could do it, Khalil, like if I were to pick one Muslim on the planet whom I think would be able to give a good response to it, it would be Khalil. He's smart. He knows all the scholarship and stuff like that. Phenomenal debater and so on. So, he should be able to answer it, and didn't. And then with Daniel, I'm thinking, okay, I'll just use the exact same stuff so he can actually be prepared for everything I'm going to say. And then he'll say, can you at least respond to that basic case? And they can't. So over time, it's like, again, in the past, you're thinking maybe they're going to come up with a response. Maybe there is a response. We're just missing it. But the more they try to respond, now I'm thinking they're just absolutely, I could be shocked, but at this stage, guys, I do not think there is any response to it. If you can't even respond to the basic case, you have no idea about the pain that is coming to you, because this gets way, way, way worse for you guys. Trust me on this.
That's the thing about it. Like, so thanks to your debate, I was inspired to host the stream again. Islamic Dilemma is still undefeated. And we let everybody come one by one and try it. And it's the Islamic Dilemma is so versatile. I think it's the most versatile argument that we have against Islam, because you can You can go with the idea that, okay, there's nowhere in the Quran that says that the previous scriptures are corrupted, not one. Or you can grant it. Okay, let me go with you. There's verses that say that the Quran is corrupted. So the Quran is saying that corrupted books are true. You can do that. You can go so many ways with this Islamic dilemma. There's no adequate response to it. There's no way around it, on top of it, behind it, that you just got to renounce Islam. And today, I mean, glory to God, bro. We had some, like, it was like 3 back-to-back, 3 guests who understood and saw the issue. They were, and then they started just asking questions about Christianity. They were interested in Christianity.
Good.
So hopefully they come back, but it's so effective, man. It is so effective. Like, people are, they're seeing it, how troublesome it is.
And just so you know, Avery, me and Anthony were listening to some of that. We were listening to you talk to a guy, and it was just amazing. You would quote the Quran to him, and then he would say the opposite.
The opposite, bro.
And then you would point out he's saying the exact opposite. But we were just kind of admiring, and I was pointing it out to Anthony. Like, I understand how important it is to just, like, you leading them to where they need to go just through asking them questions and letting them realize things for themselves. And I'm like, because like me and Anthony, we want to attack and tell them.
Yeah.
Where it's different when I'm talking to a person one-on-one, I'm kind of more like you, but when I'm, discussing something with someone online, I want to attack and stuff. But it's like, it's so amazing to see what you do, just leading them through all this. And it's like, either they see it, but if they don't see it, everyone else sees it. Everyone else who's watching is going, whoa.
But what about the Jews? Hey, David, a quick question. I see here Thaddeus' comment on the second debate. He says, Daniel asked to debate Christian Zionism. David refused, so Daniel made up a topic and debated Christian Zionism anyway. You should be blacklisted. Is this true?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he did kind of connect it. I think it's really he gave me a list of a few topics. One was Christian Zionism. I'm not a Christian Zionist. I'm like a lot of people don't understand. Like, I'm a Christian who is one kind of Zionist. I'm not a Christian Zionist. A Christian Zionist, it's like you could be a Christian and a scientist. That doesn't mean you're a Christian scientist. That's a particular position.
Yeah.
Christian Zionism is a specifically Christian idea of, like, end times prophecy and how Israel's related to this and so on. So I've never really studied that stuff. So I don't really take a position.
Well, that's the debate he wanted to have. It's obvious. Because
I'm not going to defend that. Yeah. Find a Christian Zionist to debate that. Even if he wanted to debate, like, secular Zionism, like, should Israel have a right to exist and defend itself or something like that, I'd be happy to do that. But I wouldn't have wanted to do that at this conference. It's a Christian apologetics conference, not like something else, not like modern day debate where they do a variety of topics. Wanted something on Christian apologetics. And so again, these few topics he said to pick from. So I went with the one that was most relevant, but then he focused on the Zionist. So yeah, I have to say that's kind of up to the debater. But you should be aware, this is a guy who is not going to respect. He doesn't have to respect. He doesn't believe that he really needs to respect the topic. He can kind of loosely connect it to anything he wants. Like, so for instance, if I were to do that,
it's a 20-minute opening, man. 20-minute opening about a completely different topic.
Yeah. So if I were to do that, if I wanted to do something like that, right? Like, suppose I wanted to debate, is Muhammad pure evil or something like that? And he says, no, I don't want to debate that. And I'll say, okay, let's debate which religion respects Jesus more. And he says, okay. And then I go in there and I say, well, according to Islam, Jesus predicted the coming of Muhammad, and he's the most evil person ever. And then I just spend my entire opening statement attacking Muhammad after he said he didn't want to debate that, right? I could do that. So it's going to come down to the debater. If you're okay with that, and some people would be, then yeah. If you're planning a debate with Daniel and you understand he's someone who will agree to one topic, even though he's really planning to go after another topic. If you don't want to do that, then just no, I'm not debating you. I don't trust you to honor your agreement.
Yeah, someone sent a meme and I had to share here. David Wood, sleep deprived for 6 weeks, still destroys Daniel Haqiqatjou, who had all the time in the world to prepare, who could have researched David's arguments for 20 years, and he still got smoked, because that's how powerful the Islamic dilemma is. And just so everyone knows, atheists are starting to get interested in this, because I was just on a channel called History Valley, teaching them teaching the atheists how to use the Islamic dilemma. And I'm talking to some others behind the scenes going like, hey, use this. It's easy. It's quick. You can debunk Islam in 30 seconds. You shut them down. They got nothing. And so, yeah, this is not a pro-Bible argument. This is an anti-Islam argument. So, yeah, it's gonna get out more. And I even saw a kid on TikTok using it recently.
IP, I don't know if you want to go through the. Would you pull up a timestamp in the second debate and the?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's around 1:14:42, so it's 1 hour and 14 minutes.
1:14:42.
Yeah.
This was a painful debate to watch.
So
anytime it was going back to Daniel, I just knew I was going to hear Jews at least 100 times in his breath. It was
no, this was completely off topic, even more so off topic than he originally actually went. But you can see here that David actually gets angry, and I want to address that here for a second. So let's play.
Jesus, that would be like me saying all Muslims are ISIS terrorists. You do say that. You actually do say that, David. In fact, you just talked about Hamas. These are all terrorists. Whoever supports Hamas are terrorists. That's why I make jokes about Palestinians. Palestinians support Hamas, so therefore they deserve to be starved to death. They deserve to be killed and massacred. That's exactly what you say about Muslims.
Hey, I must have missed that live stream.
I have streamed with David about this topic forever. I do not remember David a single time say anything even remotely close in that direction. This is a completely made up lie.
Hey, AP. Hey, AP. Who was it? Was it Jake, his former debate partner, or was it Fareed, or was it both, who said he's like the biggest liar they've ever encountered? And I think they said like even more than matter of fact, I think he said, I don't regard David as a compulsive liar, but I regard you as a compulsive liar, something like that. You remember who that was?
There was Jake the Muslim metaphysician, and I think Fareed agreed with him on that.
Smartest
and
thing.
You can see why he gets kind of emotionally charged and just will not hesitate to completely make things up. Interesting.
Wow.
I remember you telling me that that you're okay with people being complete scumbags, but when people start lying, then you really lose all respect. So
yeah, because I mean, think about it. There are people who are watching who don't know what I've said, right? Like the vast majority of people, they don't know everything I've ever said.
Mm-hmm.
So, a matter of fact, no one knows everything I've ever said. So if he says this is exactly what you say, well, there are people. Oh my goodness, I can't believe David says that. Well, I haven't never said that. I've never thought it. I do not believe what he said, and yet being attributed to me. So this is kind of a lesson. Notice he's like this with everything. He's like this with the people he's debating. He will not hesitate to lie about them. He's like that with the Bible. Will not hesitate to lie about it. He's like that with Jews. Will not hesitate to lie about them. He's like that with the Quran. Will not hesitate to lie about it. And you know, you gotta, so you can kind of see why Jake and Fareed, we have our disagreements and stuff like that. They're not nearly all our disagreements aside, they're not nearly as bad as Daniel when it comes to lying. And so you can kind of see why they're ticked off about it. Like they're seeing it. So you wonder like, what's wrong with your fans? How do your fans not see it? Or do they see it and they just don't care?
And I gotta say, so before, and I point this out here personally, before I turned to Christianity in the last several years, I have said some really messed up things, especially
you've said some very messed up
in relation to this conflict, and yet not even I have said what he accused you of saying right there. So the fact that he accuses you of saying that kind of stuff is just really messed up.
He did the same in the first debate. In the first debate, he did the whole gotcha question. What was it like? Do the Gospels confirm each other?
Oh yeah.
And then
yeah,
you just like
they've
picked
actually
up the
been
mic.
using that.
But it's dumb. Like I thought, like you answered it perfectly. You just casually picked up the mic, gave your answer. But then he panics because he's like, oh damn, he actually gave an answer that wasn't what I was expecting, and also he didn't stutter and go da-da-da-da-da. Like you just gave the answer, and then so he spends the next 5-10 minutes trying to gaslight the Christian audience into believing that David Wood, he was stammering, stuttering, he was doing all of this. He couldn't give a simple, clear answer, and then he tried to represent your answer with a pre-made slide. Yeah, so he was like planning this before, but then the response he showed on the screen was not what you said. So
Yeah.
it was so
Related
embarrassing.
IP, I sent you another timestamp in the private chat.
Oh,
just
let
about this.
me
Which
point out
debate?
just
The second debate.
Okay.
yeah. Let me just point out what Chris was talking about for anyone, because they're circulating this as aha, he got him and David would couldn't. It's like what were you guys talking about? So I say that Allah says over and over again that he's confirming the previous scriptures, the Torah and the gospel, and that he's using this as his main reason that Christians and Jews should believe in Muhammad and the Quran. And Daniel's saying, but what does confirm mean? Does confirm mean this or does confirm mean that? I'm saying, well, he tells you what confirm means. Like he's saying, you have to believe in all of it. You can't reject any of it. I'll send you to hell if you reject any. So it's pretty clear what he means by confirm. And they're saying, do you think the gospels confirm one another? Yes. They're telling some of the same stories and so on. So they're confirming each other's historical reliability and so on. And then it's so are you saying that one gospel confirms these others in the same way? And no. And I said what the gospels would have to say if they're confirming each other in the same way that Allah says he's confirming the Torah and the gospel. You'd have to say in each gospel, I confirm this other gospel, and I confirm that it is the inspired, preserved, authoritative word of God, and that you have to believe every word of it. Like, you don't find that in a gospel that's saying that about the other gospels.
Mhm.
And it'd have to say you have to judge by this gospel, and if you reject anything from this gospel, you're going to hell, and so on. You don't have those statements and so on. So the way it's confirming is not the same way the Quran is confirming. So I'm basically saying, let the Quran define what it means by confirming. And he's saying, no, let me make up a definition of confirming that isn't even consistent with what the Quran is saying. What's funny is I said, you could actually roll with that definition of confirmation. The Islamic dilemma still stands. And Anthony actually burned him up on that in the Q&A. He said, okay, I'll go with your definition of confirmation. It's confirming these themes that are in both the Torah and the gospel and so on. Anthony brings it up. What about Father? And so anyway, weird stuff.
Yeah, this is a problem we see with the Dawagandists. It's like they constantly think that we Christians have to use Islamic principles and structures and methods. And it's like, no, we don't. The way we understand the Gospels, our scriptures, is not the way you understand the Quran. Stop trying to force what you think of your scriptures onto us to set up this straw man. So it wasn't an equivocation on your part. It was a straw man on Daniel's part because he doesn't understand the way Christians talk about the gospel's reliability or what we believe about our scriptures. It's not the way that Muslims think about the Quran. We don't think this is the uncreated speech of Yahweh. We think the Holy Spirit inspired men to bring about the scriptures, but this is not the uncreated speech that came down to them. It's absurd. So it's constant confusion in terms of that.
Yeah. So let me just clarify again for any Muslims who are watching. The word Daniel is absolutely correct when he says confirm can mean multiple things. You can confirm something in many different ways. So if you say this confirms that, and that's confirms it in one way, that doesn't mean that something else that confirms it has to confirm it in exactly the same way. So that would be kind of equivocating if you're saying, if you're saying confirms here, then you're saying it has to confirm if you say something else confirms, it has to be the exact same sense. I'm saying when something is confirming something else, you say, what do you mean by confirm here in this case? And when I say the Quran confirms the Torah and the gospel, let the Quran define what it means by confirming the Torah and the gospel.
Right.
My definition of confirms comes straight from Allah in the Quran. His doesn't. He's giving a definition, a meaning to confirm that doesn't fit what his Quran says. And so anyway.
Did any of you guys notice near the beginning, I think in his intro, he tried to say that scholarship, or the majority of scholarship, is of the view that one of the central themes in the Quran is the idea of textual corruption. I thought this was bizarre because then he went on to be like, so this is the one verse I have. And then he even says in the intro slides, is like, now scholars debate tarif. Some say it's interpretation. Some say it's textual. There's one verse I know of that looks like it's textual. It's this one. Anyway, it's a main theme in the Quran. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Hey, yeah, Chris, that brings up sort of, I mean, it's kind of connected to what we're saying about Daniel, but that's something that IP actually exposed. When we were hearing Daniel back in the day, scholars say this, and this study shows this, and this study shows that, we're not familiar with the vast majority of the articles and stuff he's quoting. So we think that's what these studies say. It's actually IP who read everything. It's like, you either have no clue what you're talking about, and you're just reading the abstracts, or you're being deceptive because what you're saying does not line up with these things. But even in that same debate, eventually he's saying things that I am familiar with, right? Like, and the Catholic Encyclopedia says this. I'm like, whoa, I know what the Catholic Encyclopedia says on this issue, and it's the opposite of what you just said. So the issue kind of here is, suppose we're not familiar with what scholarship says or what the majority say about something, and he makes a claim about that. He's so completely discredited himself that when he says something, I don't believe anything this guy says, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're saying something, you're quoting a source, or you're saying what scholars say. If I have no clue what you're talking about, I have no idea what you're citing, I would never believe this guy again. And he has that reputation with us. He has that reputation with his fellow Muslims, which is really disturbing why he still has fans. These are people who are either insanely stupid, or they just think it's okay to lie like he does.
Yeah, and Sean Anthony recently on X actually replied to Khalil Andani and said, "Yeah, I think this is actually a pretty solid argument we have here." So yeah, this idea, because I posted a video on the Islamic Dilemma like a couple months ago, and so what I did, and then Khalil like quote tweeted it and responded, but then Sean Anthony replied under it, and he was like, "Yeah, but I think this is a solid argument." So
lots of people will think it's a solid argument once they're familiar with it.
Reynolds. I mean, remember, he went on Capturing Christianity's channel to do a video where he was asked about the Islamic Dilemma, and he said it's a real serious problem in scholarship. So, yeah. Here's
Sean Anthony that I grabbed a screenshot of a while back. But yeah, he was replying to Khalil and saying, "No, I think it's a solid argument, to be honest." So, and then of course you have scholars like what's this guy, Stephen Shoemaker. I read his book recently. On page 65. He says something very interesting. Now, he doesn't say the Islamic Dilemma directly, but he talks about the early Muslim community. And he says, prior to Abdul al-Malik's rule, the caliphate appears to have shown a remarkable degree of tolerance for other monotheistic faiths. And as noted above, there is even good evidence to suggest that they were welcome within the fold of believers' religious community, even as they remained in their own religious faiths. This inclusion of Jews and Christians and Jews and Christians within the community of believers seems to have persisted for decades beyond Muhammad's death. That was basically pointing out is the earliest Muslims were very inclusive. What we see in the Quran. With Surah 5, he's telling the Christians, just remain Christian. You Jews remain Jews. We're all believers. Surah 29:46. We worship the same God. Our God is one. And then things started to change after Abdul Malik, where they started to become more exclusive. And so there's actually scholars that are not directly using the Islamic Dilemma for sure, but they are starting to say, hey, there's some interesting things here. The earliest Muslims were not the Muslims we have today. They evolved as a religion to be more exclusive.
I just want to add one thing as well. I had a funny feeling he would bring up scholarship, but there's a tendency among Muslim debaters to say the Islamic Dilemma is not really addressed in scholarship. It comes out of nowhere. The Khalil Andani kind of made this point as well, but I looked into this. I think it's not really a fair take on this issue, because there is actually a lot of talk about this. It's just framed differently and it's used for different reasons. We're quite polemical here, and obviously we're going to use it polemically. And David Wood, I don't know if you coined the term Islamic Dilemma or if it came from somewhere else. But anyway, it's now known here as the Islamic Dilemma. But among scholars, it's just known as that problem we're all aware of, where in the Quran, it's clearly affirming the Jews and the Christians' scriptures. And we clearly know what that is historically. And we also clearly know the Quran contradicts the previous scriptures. So it's well known in scholarship. But what they're doing is they're saying, hey, we're part of an Oxford Christian and Muslim interfaith dialogue. We would like to have conversations with each other in a way that is palatable. How can we do this? Well, here's a really good idea. Let's use what is in effect the Islamic Dilemma, pointing out the fact that they're actually affirming our scriptures, but also contradicting them, and just point out, hey guys, you think our scriptures are corrupted. Did you know your Quran doesn't actually say that? Did you know that actually your Quran has a very positive view about the previous scriptures? and they use it like that, and that's how
Yeah.
a lot of scholarship does this, but it isn't talked about in that way.
Yeah, you're right. When I've seen scholars talk about it in the past, there's even a Muslim scholar, Abdullah Saeed, University of Melbourne, or something like that.
I got his article right here. Yeah, he just actually had an article where he
Yeah.
basically said, we need to have a different conversation. This is a really, let's talk about the Islamic dilemma.
No, that's
And I
a different guy. That, no,
Wow.
That's a different guy. Yeah,
that's a different guy.
Oh, okay.
That's very interesting. So, so the point is, so when I've seen people, even non-Muslims, point this out, it's more along the lines of, hey guys, don't think that Islam is bad because it's more ecumenical than you think, and so on. It's open to other people's scriptures and even confirms people's scriptures and so on. Abdullah Saeed, I mean, he was really, hey, Muslims need to rethink their claims about the Jewish and Christian scriptures, because the Quran is confirming those scriptures in the 7th century, and what they have today is the same as the scriptures in the 7th century. So what are you doing today? You should have more respect for these scriptures and so on. So yeah, the people are not using it as a polemic. As far as like the sort of origins of the argument, there were people in the 90s, like for instance, William Campbell in his book comparing science in Islam, in the Quran and the Bible. His first chapter is on what the Quran says about the scriptures, about the Bible, and the second chapter is what the Hadith say about the Bible. But he's not putting it together as like putting them in this dilemma. This was already on the Answering Islam website when I was getting into apologetics, but there were people already, like Sam Shamut they were already calling it the Islamic Dilemma. I kind of formulated it based on hearing some Muslims respond to it, because back then it was along the lines of the Quran confirms the Bible, but the Quran contradicts the Bible. Therefore, you've got kind of dilemma on your hand. Muslims were responding and saying, the Quran affirms the initial inspiration of certain things, but that's all. And, they were later corrupted. So I kind of reformulated it in terms of, no, it's not just inspiration, it's inspiration, preservation, authority, and then categorizing verses that support each one of those and so on. So I kind of reformulated it in response to certain objections. But yeah, so this goes back before us.
In what ways have you seen it evolve? The Islamic Dilemma, have you seen it evolve over these years?
Oh yeah. So again, there are people who used it just to, hey, don't have such a hostile view of Islam, or as, hey, Muslims, you should be more respectful, even from fellow Muslims. Hey, you need to be more respectful of the previous scriptures because that's how our book tells you to be. And then it started being used on the Answering Islam website as a polemic. And then it's basically like any argument. You see a problem, you make an argument out of it, but then people respond to it, and you reformulate the argument to take their responses into account. And, then you get more responses to that. And then if you need to tweak your argument more, you tweak it more. And you keep doing that until, now you have no response. Or now we know your responses are actually terrible. Now we know we've got a strong argument. But that's the thing, as I was mentioning earlier, they haven't even seen how deep this goes. So this is only getting worse for you Muslims.
That's that's what this article is sort of covering. But I just wanted to point out at the beginning, he says, recently, many people have been asking me about my take on the Islamic dilemma. And this was from this year. So this push you guys wanted to do is that we need to get the Islamic dilemma. Then 2025 needs to be the year of the Islamic dilemma. It's working because people are now coming. And his response is like you said, is like, he goes over all this stuff, basically pointing out.
Hey, go back to that first sentence though.
Go back to the first one. Yeah,
that first sentence. And why am I saying this? Because lots of the guys, when they're responding to it, it's going, no one takes this seriously. And we're going, you guys are all suddenly responding to this. Right. It's clear, it's obvious to us that Muslims have no idea how to respond. And they're coming to their Dawah guys and coming to their scholars and so on saying, can you please answer this? Because we don't know how to answer this. But he says it. He admits what we already knew, right? You guys didn't just coincidentally all start trying to respond to the Islamic dilemma. It says, recently, many people have been asking me my take on the Islamic dilemma. People have been asking him, what is this? What do we do here?
His whole take though is to take that ecumenical view though. Like he goes down here in his conclusion, he goes through all of the data. He says, but yeah, it's like we need to have a different says perhaps the real perhaps the real challenge isn't whether Islam affirms or denied the Bible's integrity, but whether the modern debates make room for the textured theological middle ground that early Islam seemed to occupy. So he's basically just pointing out, you can just check out his conclusion that, yeah, they had a nuanced, respectful affirmation of the scriptures, essential authority. And so, yeah, his whole issue is like we need to have a nuanced approach to this where maybe the early Muslims were a little different in how they looked at this.
Mm-hmm.
They are historically a more fluid and layered relationship between Islam and the early revelations. So,
but by the way,
it's interesting.
If I were a Muslim, if I actually believed in Islam and for some reason, God forbid, I actually believed that the Quran is the inspired word of Allah, I would have to take that approach. I would say, okay, I believe that this is revelation from God, but this is obviously affirming that the scriptures that were in the possession of Christians and Jews. So I have to believe that. So what do I do with the differences? What do I do with the difference? Well, I either have to, okay, well, this just doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to leave Islam. If I wanted to still be a Muslim, I think I would basically go really hard on Surah 5, verse 48 and go deep into that and say, okay, the Quran is affirming these scriptures, but Surah 5, verse 48, that's where Allah says, right after he tells the Jews in verse 43, they judge by the Torah, verse 47, Christians judge by the gospel. Next verse says that Allah sent Muhammad with the Quran. The Quran confirms the previous scriptures, and it's a guardian or protector over them. But then it goes on to say that Allah made a different law for different people because he wants there to be different groups who compete with each other in good deeds. So I would say, yes, Allah actually gave different revelations with these differences. And so our goal should be to try and reconcile as much as we can. And if we can't reconcile it, then Allah put those in there because he wanted different communities that couldn't be reconciled into one big community, so that they would be separate communities and they would compete with each other as to who's going to do the most good works or something like that. I would have to say something like that, or leave the religion.
You got to take that approach. I mean, there's no way to actually do that. Yes.
Hey, I just want to point out that the debate has around 90,000 views now.
Oh, nice.
It has surpassed 100,000 probably tonight.
Nice.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep
80-something thousand. But
that's interesting because a lot of the recent debates have like 20,000 views. That means people are interested in this. That means people are interested in this topic.
I have this thing here that shows me the statistics right now at this point since publication. It is watched 24 times more often than other streams on the channel. So it's going to be big, man. It's going to be one of the most watched debates specifically about Islam. And this is awesome because Islam got crushed. And
2025.
I've just determined I'm going to keep doing videos on the Islamic Dilemma. So like if Muslims want to reply to me, I'm just going to keep doing TikTok responses, because I had a video on the Islamic Dilemma on TikTok. Guess how many views one of my videos got?
2.
More.
You said guess.
2 million.
I got one of my videos on the Islamic Dilemma got over 500,000 views on TikTok. And it was a 9-minute video. Typically, those types of videos don't get that big on TikTok because it's short videos. But that one video on the Islamic Dilemma got 500,000 views. People are interested in this, and Muslims are noticing, and they're in panic mode, even if they don't want to admit it to the public because they have to do all their chest-thumping confidence Dawah script. But it's like this is getting out, and the more we push this, the better. And they don't know what to do at this point because they're all saying something different. They're all trying to come up with a different solution. And they're contradicting each other on how to solve this, which is not making them look good. So the more I get them talking about it, that's good. I think that's good for destroying Islam. And so they don't realize they're helping us by the more they talk about it.
And by the way, just so you Muslims who are watching, I'll tell you where this is going. I'll tell you exactly where this is going. You got a handful of people who know the argument pretty well. Lots of people are catching on, and they're kind of getting the gist. I just spoke to a group of people who were familiar with it, and I gave them a more detailed presentation. I went through a lot of verses, And then they had like small groups afterwards to discuss, and everyone had the same reaction. We already knew, we'd heard, we're familiar with the Quran confirming the Bible. They all had the exact same. We had no idea there's this much stuff in there. No idea how big this was. But guys, where this is going, Muslims, where this is going, eventually all of this is going to be compiled and put into the hands of Christians and non-Christians around the world. It's going to be every verse put into categories of what it's confirming, what it's saying. Every verse that you guys use for responses and you lie and say, oh, all commentators agree with this, it's going to have the verse and it's going to have what all of the commentaries say right there. And the result of that is going to be, you're going to look at Muslims are going to look at the commentaries and they're going to go, why are all these commentaries saying completely different things about these verses? And why don't they agree with us? And why don't they make sense? Oh my goodness, do all these commentaries, are they making stuff up? Obviously, if they knew what the verse is about, there would be some sort of agreement. They're all just making stuff up. Wait a minute. Do people have no clue what these verses are about? But what's going to come out of these verses is when you go to like 279, 275, 513, and they come up with all these different explanations, the result is going to be Muslims are going to realize these are the ambiguous verses. And the verses the Christians are going to for the Islamic dilemma are the clear verses. The clear verses are all affirming our scriptures. Our guys have to go to ambiguous, unclear verses that have 20 different opinions about them. And those opinions make no sense in light of the clear verses. And it's basically going to be everything is right in front of everyone's face. It's all we will have done all of the work and put it into the hands of people around the world so that anyone can run the Islamic dilemma, and anyone will be able to run the Islamic dilemma against any Dawah guy, because any Dawah guy is going to say, oh, 279, any Christian, let me check this out. Oh, you little liar, you. Bad times coming, Dawah guys. Bad times. What's going
to happen? People are going to pick up the Quran, as you can see here. They're going to pick up the Quran, and they will turn it around, and it will say Islamic dilemma. It will say Islamic dilemma.
Hey, we should come up with our own Islamic dilemma Quran.
Yeah.
The only notes in the Quran are notes about the Islamic dilemma. What?
There you go.
Where it'll be like a verse and it'll be like a footnote. Ibn Tabari, like Ibn Kathir, they have no idea what this means. They'll say different things.
This is why, right now, David, this is why you need to soon pick up the idea that I gave you and write the book about the Islamic dilemma. And then once you have done that, that will be one of the biggest strikes. But then the next strike, the final blow will be when Mike Winger talks about the Islamic dilemma.
Oh my God!
He'll ruin it somehow. He'll ruin it. He'll state it all wrong, and everyone will just go to that and think it's the dumbest argument ever.
Yeah, I will start to butter him up on that, so we can get him to get that out there for us for sure. Some super chats here. I'll get to the ones that are that donate a little bit more, and then I'll go back through the rest. Whether or not Daniel's comment about Jews are true, it doesn't matter because we follow the teachings of the Lord Jesus and love our enemies and turn the other cheek if someone disrespects the Lord Jesus, that we pray for them. And yeah, that was the biggest problem with his second debate. It's just he didn't understand what Jesus taught. He doesn't understand what's in Christianity, and it just backfired right in his face, obviously.
Yeah.
This is an all-star lineup, and our Giant DOC here, or are they too quiet as usual? They're probably asleep, but Chris is a vampire, so he's awake, joining us from Britain, because it's late over there, and they said they were going to be tired.
They were sensible.
Probably it. Yeah. Hey guys, hate to get off topic. Just wanted to get your guys' take on Alex O'Connor's idea that free will doesn't exist. He argues that everything we do is either because we are forced to do or that we want to. And my response to that would simply be that, and he also says, and that we can't control our wants or desires. Therefore, we can't control our actions. We can do what we will, but we can't will what we want. Any thoughts? This is Alvin Planting has addressed this. This is not free will. That's maximal autonomy. The idea that we can control our desires. Free will is acting within an environment, acting within your desires, and as a conscious being, you're not going to be able to avoid influences, but you can decide as a conscious, self-aware agent between different wants and desires and what you're going to choose. It's oversimplifying what consciousness is and what free will is, and so it just simply doesn't work. And so that's how I would reply to Alex if I ever debated him on that topic. Daniel, he kick a Jew actually tried to kick a Jew. Did he? That would be horrible. But Dai think the dilemma is used to prove Christianity true. Yeah. Rumsey of Dawah over Daniel just tried to do that on me today. And I'm like, dude, you have no idea how we argue the Bible is reliable. This is how desperate the cope is to deal with the Islamic dilemma. No Christian has ever used the Islamic dilemma to argue that the Bible is reliable, but this is how desperate they are. I don't even get it, man. It is the rabbi of the OQO Christians B-Day today. First Chris, then Avery, and now the rabbi. Everyone play British Chris game. Also, by seeing of you in New York, Avery, save me a hug, bro, from 6'4" right shoulder.
I got you, man.
And I never talked about this. Chris, you made that game, right? Was it?
Yeah.
That's
that
your
was me.
game?
That's my game. Yeah.
Hey, AEP, we need to play that in a live stream one day with Chris. You want to join us for that?
Yeah, can do. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's work out a day. Can be on anyone's channel. Can be on your channel, Chris, or AP's, or mine.
Elle sent me that, and I was laughing very hard when I first tried it. So
Nice.
we have to go through that.
Yeah, we'll set something up.
My brother in Christ, Eric smoked Daniel in the Q&A for the second debate. Yeah, I didn't catch the Q&A, so I don't know what that's referring to.
The funniest thing in the Q&A was when Anthony Rogers went up and asked the question about God being the Father, being called the Father throughout the Old Testament and the New Testament, and Daniel Haqiqatjou did not even get the question. He didn't even get the point.
So you mean the Trinity?
Oh, so you're saying it was through the Trinity? No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's not about the Trinity. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, but it's not about the Trinity.
And then he was like, so you mean Father in a biological sense? And I'm like, what are you on about? That's such a...
For a guy who brags about being a Harvard graduate, I don't know what to say.
Did someone ask him about the Al Zut in the Q&A?
Yeah, someone mentioned Al Zut and said, who loves Al Zut most or something like that. And I said Muhammad.
I think I got it here. Hold on. This was in the second debate, right?
I don't remember. It was all a blur.
Who loves Jesus more? But I think something that's extremely important is who loves El Zut more.
Oh man, they have my mic.
We'll go to the next question.
No.
We'll go to the next question.
Oh, James ruining it.
No, it's a. Yeah, they were cutting mics and not catching everything. It was weird.
Oh man, there was one part. David, I want to ask you about this, but in the first debate, Daniel tried to get the audience on his side, and it just completely backfired on him.
Yeah.
This was
hey, you want to talk about the audience being on your side? How about when I said, "All right, Christians, all answer at once"? That was funny.
Yeah, this was that was in the second one, but in the first one, this was he tried to get the audience on his side here.
One in the audience. Have you ever seen a Muslim take a copy of the Bible and slam it on the ground or rip it up or burn it? Have you? This is some.
Yes.
I haven't seen this.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes.
Listen. I've really angered the peanut gallery. Look, the Muslim theological position. That's why you haven't seen me.
One sec, folks. One sec.
Everyone else wants to talk.
I definitely hold on one sec, folks. It's definitely clear that you guys disagree with Daniel on that, and I think it's picked up on the stream too. I want to give Daniel a chance to respond though.
So I don't know.
Yeah, he really thought he was going to be like, "Oh yeah, we've never seen Muslims do incredibly evil, horrible things."
And he's just like, "I've never seen it." It's like, what? What a silly response. It's like, oh dear.
They're destroying churches in Nigeria and murdering Christians in the middle of mass. Like, what are you talking about, Daniel?
When they blow up churches, are they careful to remove all the Bibles from beforehand and so on?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he calls the audience drunk, by the way. I don't know if you caught.
Oh yeah, he did that too. He said that the audience is drunk, that the Christians are drunk or something like that. Yeah.
Freaking ridiculous, man. It's just like lives in a fantasy world.
What was it, y'all? Was it a mutual choice to not have a cross-examination?
It was just there was something like an hour. It was something like the debate had to be an hour and 30 minutes, and I just said no. So just to be clear, because I saw people, why didn't Daniel want cross-examination or something like that? It was just They said an hour and a half, and I said, well, we could do 20-minute openings and 12-minute rebuttals and 8-minute rebuttals and 5-minute and stuff like that. So we had to get it like an hour and 30 minutes or something like that. So something like that.
Okay, okay, for sure. Because I'm when I see it that you're debating that type of title, I would love to see you grill these guys. You know, that would have been awesome to see. So I was interested in why there was no cross examination. Yeah, okay.
I tried to put some questions in, because usually with Monday debate, if you're watching online, you can like do a super chat with a question, and then in the Q&A he'll ask it. But I saw like a comment from, I think it was Too Many Marys, and it was like, yeah, Chris, stop doing this. They're not going to read you're not going to read your question out. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's whatever, man. That's it is what it is. I just sometimes, you kind of wish you had more time for those debates. Yeah, I know what you mean. Let's see here. Would you ever review controversial theological movies? Maybe but that can issue some copyright things. What do you think of the?
Those are also old movies.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. What do you think of the Orthodox Muslim saying IP is running?
Everybody's running. Everybody's running.
What are you running from? What are you supposedly running from?
So he uploaded that really dumb video that AP sent me on where he tried to say that God says the N-word in the Bible, and it's just him saying Niger. So he got pissed off about that, and he challenged me to a debate. But it was like just before my debate with Lawrence Krauss. So I let James know, hey, doesn't AP need a debate partner? Let's ask the Orthodox Muslim. He wants to debate. And then he didn't debate AP. He said he was busy. So obviously the Orthodox Muslim was running from AP.
Yeah, he's running.
What a coward.
What a coward. Yeah. So no, but he wants to debate, I think, Muhammad in the Bible. Yeah, sure. I've been busy. After the debate with Krauss, I had to get ready for Britain, where I debated Stephen Law. I'm still waiting to have my debate with Abdullah Andalusi, which on Rattlesnake TV, which got postponed. Should be September 1st now for anyone interested. So that, and then James is trying to set up other big name debates for me in the fall. So yeah, if he wants to actually reach out to me and we schedule far enough in advance, sure. He's not actually said, hey, let me reach out to you and do this. And I know because Dean Responds asked me, and I told him the same thing. I have this debate with Abdullah. Then I have these other debates James is trying to set up for me. I can do something after that. And then I forget exactly what happened, but I think I said, well, other people, what about like David Wood or Chris? I recommended Chris even.
Yeah, I've been trying to set it up with him.
Wait a minute. You want to have a debate quicker? What about these guys? I have these other things lined up. If you want to do it later, further out, we'll plan it, but it's going to be not until 2026. So Orthodox Muslim, he's saying I'm running. Why hasn't he reached out to me to try to schedule something that far out?
James is in the chat. What's up, James? How are you doing? James.
Hey, IP. So if the topic's Muhammad in the Bible, just so everyone knows where we're going. This is the year of the Islamic Dilemma. Next year is the year of Muhammad in the Bible and the satanic verses. So
nice.
Perfect year next year if you're talking about next year for debating Muhammad in the Bible.
Yeah,
Muhammad getting crushed in the Bible. So by the way, I'm supposed to debate Orthodox Muslim at the end of this year. I think I'm supposed to debate him at DebateCon. So pretty sure that he agreed to it. But
nice.
James, if you're here, if you can confirm.
Hey, Orthodox Muslim's here.
All right, good.
Is he?
Is he?
Is he?
How did you know?
I just saw a little thing on the corner of the screen. The comments are scrolling.
Oh yeah, he's here. Yeah. Okay, wait.
Is it really him?
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, see.
Okay.
No, Orthodox Muslim. I was being tongue in cheek by pointing out if you're saying I'm running, then why did you run from AP in February?
He's still my
obviously I'm not. I'm
busy.
People
are pointing that out. Yes.
Why you copy my profile picture? My God, put it back up. Put the comment back up.
There it is.
Yes, it is your picture, right? It's the same style.
He's the same exact. It's the same color, same background, same.
Man,
hey Flippiano, what you doing, man?
He's trying to blow up. He's trying to blow up like you, Avery.
This is
Trying.
crazy, man.
Trying to
The
figure out,
imitation
hey,
is the
what,
greatest form of
why is
flattery.
Avery blow up so much, man? Let me copy him.
So as far as I know, I am supposed to debate Orthodox Muslim at the end of this year. I think IP is supposed to debate him as well. So we're supposed to have debates.
I'd
with
love
him.
to. If
And,
it can, I told James if those big names fall through. I already told James if the big names falls through, he wants me to debate. Orthodox Muslim wants me to debate on if Muhammad's in the Bible, if I remember correctly. So I told James I'll do that if the big names fall through. So if they think I'm running, no, I've been trying to do it, but I mean, and Orthodox Muslim, I didn't say like, oh, you're definitely running. I said if I'm running by the same logic you were running,
he's
from
making
AP.
fun of you. If
He
refusing
reversed things he wasn't
refusing
saying
to
right.
do some debate for any reason means you're running, and that's just how you Dawah clowns argue. Oh, he's not debating, so he's running like little kids. If you're using that definition of what IP did when he explained it, and you're going to say he's running, which is what you're saying, then fine, you're running. Hey, Orthodox Muslim, let's debate. Is Muhammad a true prophet at DebateCon? Since you're going to be there, is Muhammad a true prophet? Or,
by the way,
or are you going to run?
And don't call yourself Orthodox Muslim, by the way. Change it just something like the Salafi or something like the traditionalist or like something like the Islamist. I don't know. Don't use Orthodox in your name. But hey, I think we're also supposed to do like a 2-on-2, like David and I, against him and some other clown about Jesus. Or something like, or Christianity versus Islam. But I think I'm pretty sure, and I want to reiterate it here as well, once again in front of everybody. Orthodox Muslim actually, or also called the Islamist. So the Islamist actually challenged me to a debate, or me and David Wood to a debate about the Bible or about Jesus. I don't remember.
If we're debating Jesus, we're debating Muhammad. Just
and I then said I will do it under the condition that we first, you and I, one-on-one debate, is Islam true? So I'm pretty sure that we have set up is Islam true as a debate topic, and that we will do it. So I want to just reiterate this challenge here one more time. I will debate the Islamist, also known as the Orthodox Muslim, on is Islam true at the end of this year. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, nice. I'm more than willing to do it. It's just, again, it's with timing. I do debates sparsed out because I have videos to make, video scripts to write, books to read. So I don't do debates like every weekend. I do them, I disperse them out. So I mean, as soon as we can get it set up, I'm more than happy. And I told Dean Responds, I said, hey, I got all this stuff planned. If you want to do it for 2026, just get on the calendar. And then I just also suggested other names if he wants it quicker. But if you guys want me, we got to just schedule it far out because I got a bunch of stuff I'm focusing on as well. So that's just always been my MO on these kinds of things.
Powerful.
Bazik says, Daniel, arguments were so bad that they made me become a Muslim just so I could leave Islam.
Hey, the tremendous, the hilarious part there is Muslims brag, we got someone so-and-so converted, when it's something like between 70 and 80% of people who convert to Islam leave Islam within a couple of years. So they actually make more ex-Muslims than they make Muslims. Guys, that's a losing strategy. If you're winning converts, but 70 to 80% are leaving Islam after a few years, you're ultimately making more ex-Muslims than you're making Muslims. So
I read there's now Muslim authors, who are writing books that are encouraging da'is to be selective in who they evangelize to, give dawah to, because they're thinking that if there's such a high rate of Muslims leaving, then you should only go for like influencers, the Andrew Tates, these kind of guys, because they're the only people that are really worth giving dawah to. This is now an actual opinion that some da'is have. Really interesting learning about that.
Hey, Orthodox Muslim, stop acting like you're leaving, man. You were watching the stream the entire time.
Yeah, you can't leave.
The entire time.
You can't leave.
He watches all our streams.
Why does this picture look like he's trying to kiss us or something?
Yeah, I don't get that. It looks weird, man.
That's.
Hey, I just said, yeah.
Look at my luscious lips.
Yeah, well, again, I'll just say again, Orthodox Muslim. Yeah, I've already. James can verify.
I love the Kardashians. Let me try to look like them. It's like, what did they call that? They called that duck lips or something like that. The girls would always doing their selfies. That's what he's doing. Why are you doing duck lips, man?
Doing the duck face, man. Trying to be cute. Trying to be light skinned.
trying to advertise the new lip gloss or something like this that he's promoting.
I'm trying to be serious. I can't keep up.
That's usually how light skins look, man. You know.
But I was gonna say, James can verify. I already said if the big names fall through that he wants me to debate, I suggested you for that debate you wanted. So I'm more than happy to do that at DebateCon 6. So if you want to debate us all there, I guess we can just line
it up.
Line them up. So yeah.
Hey, Orthodox Muslim, on a serious note, for some reason we're really good at making things stick. So you're gonna have to change your picture with a different picture because everyone's gonna say why you duck lipping now because it's
out here duck lipping, copying profiles, and then duck lipping. that ain't cute, man. That ain't cute, bro.
He's copying you. Does he want to kiss you? Is that what
hey, man. Hey.
They want to get all zooted.
I ain't trying to get all zooted out here, man.
Hey, yo, we actually thought. Listen, guys, I just posted a video, like the last video. I didn't post a video in like 1,000 years. I already told you why, but I posted a video, and it was about like when I was younger. And I said, when I was young, I realized people are constantly feeding me information about what they like and what they don't like and what their weaknesses are and stuff like this. And like, it's always like in a mental catalog of if I ever need to use this and stuff. But when Daniel started flipping out and getting angry and whining and why are you guys being mean? It was like, you want to kill us all. Like what, you're whining about people being mad to you or saying something to you. And so I'm just sitting there thinking, you're letting me know how sensitive you are to people in the audience. Like, dude, you should not be letting me know this right now. Cause if I ever want to ruin your debate, I know exactly how now. But anyway, I'll say what we should do is, we'll have like 10 strong black guys sitting in the front row and everyone will have an old Zoot shirt and they'll just be sitting there like this the entire time. It's like, dude, you're ruined, man. Your whole debate is ruined.
That would be something you could get. Oh man, I wouldn't be surprised if you could get that set up. Daniel's still traumatized from IP's cross-examination. LOL. Kudos to David and James from Modern Day Debate for their patience with Daniel in the audience. At the moment, I think he must be willfully ignorant. Prayer is needed for him. Yeah, that I will never that cross-examination that I did with Daniel those 2 years ago, that was planned. Yeah. That was planned months in advance. I don't think people realize I had planned that in like February. I knew exactly what I was going to ask him. I knew exactly how he would respond because I'd watched so much of his stuff to figure out his psychology. And he walked into that like perfect.
Have you noticed that was like the tipping point? He was actually,
I was going to say that.
Like he was getting a reputation as a great Muslim debater up until then. And then it's just like loss.
That's when he started falling brutally. I think that debate did something to him, and she just started getting L's after L's after L's, and it has been downhill ever since. I mean, just look at what he did here. He's really invited to a debate event, has 2 topics to pick from, 2 debates to arrange. What does he do? He agrees to debate the Islamic Dilemma without even really preparing for it or having anything to say about it. He actually, despite being a horrible debater in terms of theology and only relying on sensationalism about social issues, like if you don't become Muslims, then your children will become drug addicts and die in the street. This guy wants to suddenly talk about the Islamic Dilemma, and then he picks another topic, which is do Muslims or does Islam or Christianity represent Jesus more respectfully? And then he goes into it and makes the topic all about Jews bad, therefore Islam more respectful. What in the world? Like he doesn't even have a plan to pick it up anymore. I feel like he's just giving into the failure, the fall, and just reveling in it now.
Do you think it's like, Muhammad Hijabi has this persona, is this big tough guy or whatever, but then it kind of became such a persona that he kind of fell into it, and he's just now forever tied to that. And now he has to basically be a clown wherever he goes because that's how people know him and that's how he's going to make money. So he just keeps doing it, and that's just his life now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder, it's kind of like a pipeline. It's the Dawah to clown pipeline. You start off trying to actually give dawah, but then eventually you find out you earn more money, you can sell more prayer mats if you just act like a fool. So
no, it is. It's you know, we talked in the past about, you know, Dawah used to be kind of focused on convincing non-Muslims that Islam is true. And then once they started getting the avalanche of apostasy, then it became, we need to convince Muslims to remain in Islam. But the things that you would do to convince a Muslim, that the things that are persuasive to a Muslim, especially in different parts of the world, are very different from what is persuasive to non-Muslims. And so you have to start gearing your approach towards that, which is like lots of posturing and chest thumping and boasting and running your mouth and stuff like that. But then once you start down that road, you're competing for attention with other da'is who are doing the same thing. So you just have to keep dialing it up and thumping your chest more and more, or you don't win. You don't win because it's a battle of attention. They're struggling for attention to who's going to be the champion of some group, because that's how you're gonna make your living. So
yeah. Let me go to the timestamp here on the Islamic Dilemma. 2740. Is this what you wanted to do, AP?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So somebody
Alright,
just called him the orthodox Muslim, and I just thought it
the
was funny.
orthodox Muslim. That's gonna. Hey, if anything's gonna stick, yeah, it's gonna stick. The orthodox Muslim. Guys, be sure to get that picture before he changes it, because he will be changing it.
Dude, I mean, honestly, at this point, Orthodox Muslim, please change it for the mercy of us all.
Hey, can you imagine him? You know how some of the guys put eye makeup around their eyes? Oh my goodness. Oh boy.
Oh,
Anyway.
How I thought this was gonna go. Okay, let me play this clip here.
Why has this argument had such a rise in popularity? Christianity today faces a full-blown crisis. Western scholarship has seriously undermined the Bible's authenticity, showing that both the Old and New Testaments evolved over time and can't be reliably linked to either Moses or Jesus. With social media, these critiques have gone viral. Figures like
I never actually responded to that. Did he say the Torah and the gospel can't be linked to Moses or Jesus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do the math, Daniel. Do the math on that one. You can run the Islamic Dilemma just from that one statement.
It's so stupid, man. It is so stupid. But the thing is also, it's complete nonsense. And he brings up, didn't he learn, man? Didn't he pay attention to anything over the last few years? Mohammed Hijab invited Bart Ehrman on just to do the regular thing of using Bart Ehrman as an authority to affirm Islam and criticize Christianity and criticize the authenticity of the Bible and all that. Bart Ehrman does not agree with the Islamic viewpoint. Bart Ehrman, I asked him myself, agrees that the New Testament was largely written by people who witnessed Jesus or his disciples. Bart Ehrman vastly agrees that the majority of what you read in the New Testament is authentic. He also agrees that the majority of what the New Testament says about Jesus is authentic, despite his criticism and despite his skepticism. Bart Ehrman also agrees that there is no doubt that the disciples of Jesus, whom he himself picked, believed in the divinity of Jesus after the death and resurrection of Jesus. He also says that the disciples of Jesus, the immediate disciples, his immediate followers whom he entrusted, they saw him resurrect and they believed that he is God in a sense. He also believes that the incarnation message and the divinity of Christ is a theme that may have already existed before Paul, and so on. So citing Bart Ehrman here as an authority about the New Testament is as dumb as it gets, if you want to make the point that that the New Testament might be disconnected, there might be no blah, 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 blah. He is telling you that you should that the disciples believed in the divinity of Christ. That's literally what Bart Ehrman believes. If you as Muslims want to use him as an authority on this, then you should also trust that the disciples did believe in the divinity of Jesus. If Muslims if Muslims are consistent with their own beliefs, they are expected to respect what the disciples said and wrote about Jesus. They are expected to trust Jesus. They are expected to respect Jesus. If Jesus himself picked those disciples, then that means the disciples that he himself picked believed in his divinity. That means Christianity is correct. That means Islam is false. You idiots.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Man, it's something. Here, let me, did you want to keep playing this AP? Because you...
Yeah, I want to get to another thing just to point out something really, really bad that he does.
Yeah, let's
keep playing.
Becoming online celebrities. The damage to Christian belief is immense. Data shows Christianity is the fastest declining religion today.
Pause.
Pew research shows
What is...
Did you hear what he just said?
Yeah.
Christianity is the fastest declining religion. Now look at the chart.
Yeah, I did pick up on that as well. I'm like, you didn't phrase that very well. It's fastest declining. Here's a chart going up. And it's like, well, I mean... Okay.
Guys, it'd be very easy to like clip that or to make a short. I couldn't see that. I wasn't looking behind me, so I didn't know what he had on the screen. But I did see people giggling and laughing and pointing at things, pointing at his slides and stuff like that while he was talking. I didn't know what they were pointing at, but this is probably one of them.
He doesn't even know what he's putting on the screen, man.
Man, it's wild.
By the way, that same study. So Muslims will look at that. Look, Muslims are growing faster. That same study said it's because of Muslim birth rates. Muslims have higher birth rates. And when you look into why Muslims have higher birth rates, it doesn't support Islam. It's because they offer far fewer opportunities for women to be educated or to have careers and so on. And so they basically turn them into baby making machines.
Basically, yeah. I did see something recently that not a lot of Pew put out something, I think in 2025. I'm going to try to find it here. That actually, there's not a lot of converts coming into Islam. I need to find.
Yeah, it's that the number of converts coming into Islam is offset by the people leaving Islam. So you're not gaining any ground by converts. It's birth rates.
And they also said that the decline of Christianity in America, I think, has come to a halt. And
measured by church attendance has actually started increasing over the past few years.
Yeah, there's hold on, I think I found this here. This just came out recently. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. This looked at specific countries, like predominantly I think Islamic countries. And so, yeah, not everything in this report was good. I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is wonderful news. But like, for example, if we go to
you got hang on, you got to put that comment up.
You got to put that.
You got to put the comment from the there we go.
That's pretty good.
Did he say jizya? Or Orthodox? Oh no,
no, it's not him. But man,
from my powerful lips.
Yo, what? Orthodox lips Muslim.
Whoever made that super fast, my hat's off to you. That was impressive.
Very, very
speed.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was actually him. I thought he just had like a really good sense of humor. I was gonna say, like, actually, to be fair to him, that's pretty funny. Oh wow, I didn't realize it was another account.
No, it was super fast, man. He put that in the AI. He probably make the duck lips more obvious, and then he just threw it up there. But yeah, going back to this is I think this is it. Few adults are leaving or entering Islam across countries surveyed. So they looked at these countries here, and as you can see, like so raised Muslim, the majority, left Islam, -3, entered Islam, 0 in Turkey. So this is like, it's not like it's a big convert thing. It still is mostly going to be birth rates for Muslims. So yeah, this was an interesting thing. I think this just came out. I was trying to go through some of it, but yeah, it was interesting to say the least. Let me get back to the super chats we got here, because we got Daniel unfortunately got eaten by lions. This Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel is busy writing his injeel with his hands so he can sell it for a small price.
Oh yeah, by the way, I mean, I brought this up in the debate, but it is, because we've got the commentaries and stuff, and I thought you could, of course, and it is kind of important to eventually go through what all the commentaries say on these verses and so on. But at the end of the day, if a commentator says, here's what Allah says, and it's not from the Quran, that's them writing a book and claiming it's from Allah, and that puts them at that woe to you who write the book and say it's from Allah. You are condemned by Surah 2 verse 79, which you're appealing to. And so that's any time. So any Muslims, Christians, everyone who's watching, if a Muslim goes to a commentary to say what Allah is saying, and it's not what Allah says, they're condemned, man. They're condemned.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't let them get away with it. Say, hey, you're condemned, man. Allah says, woe to you.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I says, you should write a book saying Islam is false and read the Quran.
That's all. It's just blank except read the Quran. Or every page says read the Quran. Or how to destroy Islam. That's the title, and you open it up and it's just the Quran inside.
Well, it's like you said in the debate, we seem to have more reverence for what Allah says in the Quran. Muslims, they want to run to modern scholars. They want to run to some obscure hadith and twist it around, or some tafsir. And it's like, look, we're just going on what it says. It tells us to judge by the gospel. What are we supposed to do? We are not supposed to convert to Islam. We're supposed to be our own community that judges by the gospel. What do you want from us? We have reverence for what Allah says, more so than what the Muslim apologists do. The Jews coerced the U.S. government to hide the uncorrupted injeel, so Daniel can't answer your question since he doesn't have access. It's the Jews. Always the Jews. There's a theory that Islam...
the uncorrupted injeel.
Corrupted.
Yes. Netanyahu has it.
Netanyahu has it.
One must have gotten out into Gaza. That's why he went to war.
They're bombing it.
There's a theory that Islam really has origins in Persia, not the Hijaz. In that case, the Injeel is the Diatessaron favored by Arians and historians. There is a guy, I forget his name, but he does say the Diatessaron is the Injeel. I forget who it was. He's a Muslim scholar, but he has argued that, and I'm like, well, okay, it doesn't really work.
Still doesn't work. You still have to deal with verses like 568. Say, O people of the book, you have no ground to stand upon unless you stand fast by the Torah, the gospel, and all the revelation that has come to you from your Lord. It's hard to say. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Diatessaron, that's all it means.
Right, exactly, yeah. So given this debate, can we say Muslims are autistic when they bring up only parts of the passages from the Bible while ignoring the rest of the verse? According to Daniel, yes.
According to Daniel, they fit the criteria.
Someone with autism, Asperger's, Daniel, is the R word and pathetic.
Yeah, did anyone understand that? I didn't understand why he was saying autistic.
He's just being incredibly rude and
he was just randomly saying it.
Yeah.
Didn't make any sense.
It's because the guy that was asking him the questions asked him a very detailed question that was very specific. So he was trying to say that he was like taking it to like literal, or like not giving a more reasonable. I don't know. He was trying to use the word in that sense. But it just didn't come across that way, and it came across as being totally left field. And
that guy was, by the way, Osama Dakdok, I think, and he already knew something about him, and he already knew about him, and obviously had an issue with him, which is why he started insulting him and the audience together.
The gotcha question and subsequent gaslighting Haqiqatjou had on the Gospels. Affirming Gospels was baffling because the Gospels don't claim the same standards as the Quran. Well said, Norm. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Yeah. IP, you weren't at S and ST, so no far forward for you from last year. David Wood got his, and I was very nice enough to give AP to David Wood, even though AP left like a nerd before I could get him to sign my critical Quran. Yeah, no one invited me, so they invite me, I'll come. It's very Christianophobic of them, but yeah, I'll come next year if I get invited. My blood boiled when Daniel mocked Usaim Dakdok.
Osama.
I don't remember that. Oh, Usama. Yeah, I don't remember that part. Then he said he's a paid Israeli agent. Was that in the second debate? Because I don't think I saw
it didn't even make sense. Yeah, it was during the second debate, and he started because Osama Dakdok said something about Hamas, and then and then Daniel started mocking him, like, oh yeah, it's Hamas, everything Hamas. But the thing is, it sounded like he's making fun of how Jews say Hamas, and it didn't really make sense the way that he was mocking Osama, who has an Arab accent there. So
yeah. Anthony Rogers buried him with Daniel's own criteria of a repeated point. Yeah, he basically did with that whole, he went up and said, well, okay, we see in the Old Testament and in the New Testament, God is called a father. Why doesn't the Quran, if it's affirming the general aspects, Like, I'm just trying to think of what core doctrines Islam affirms. It's like very few, if that. It's like confirms maybe the virgin birth, doesn't affirm the fall, the Trinity, the divinity of Jesus.
Well, they're trying to now. Like what they're trying to do behind the scenes, I think, is they're trying to reconcile like the father-son kind of language in the Old Testament and New Testament. They're trying to reconcile it with the Quran, which is really interesting. And I think it's really problematic, but I don't know. I love seeing them try.
How can I refute the claim that the Quran has been perfectly preserved?
You can do that in multiple ways. You can go through the Muslim source. I'm not what we say. Go through the Muslim sources, what they say about the Quran, verses being eaten by a goat, entire chapters being forgotten by Muslims because they were too lazy to recite them. Large passages coming up missing because the only Muslims who had them memorized died in battle and so on. So you can point those kinds of things. You can go to books by people like Dan Brubaker and so on, who focus on actually examining manuscripts and so on. You can compare manuscripts, or you've got the people who focus on Qurans in different parts of the world today. So I'm not talking about manuscripts. I'm talking about different Qurans that are used in different parts of the world. They have differences in them. And I mean, even differences that are contradictions, because Muslims will try to say, oh yeah, but they complement each other or something like that. They have contradictions in them. So multiple ways you can go. Just pick which one you like best.
Yeah. Do any of you guys need prayer? Pray for Avery. He has to do live debates every week, and I feel like his sanity is going.
Yeah, very slowly. I'm starting to hear voices sometimes. So if you guys can look out for me, man, I appreciate that.
Dude, I hear those voices too, because every time I go on, I see you, and then like I hear voices, someone talking to you.
Yeah,
Whoa,
it's weird.
Yeah. Real quick, Matt's yelling at me. Just so everyone knows, our Discord is now public. If you guys want to join, you refresh this page. The link is below. Also, if people have been asking us about the Patreon website, all the perks you get on Patreon, you get if you donate through the website. The link for that is below. You just get an email sent to you to sign up for the donor newsletter, and then you get early access to all videos, updates, our private Q&As when we're going to have those. So just announcement for that. Links below if you guys want to donate to help support the channel to keep us creating more videos. We have a video currently only for Patreon supporters right now called How Christianity Created Human Rights. That's currently only for Patreon supporters. If you guys want to watch that now, if you sign up to donate through the website or on Patreon, you get access to that video, because we're doing a bunch of videos on how Christianity has benefited the world. And right now, the one is currently out for how Christianity created human rights. And we get a lot of research going through the ages on how that built up to where we are now.
Awesome.
That series was actually David Wood's idea. He told me to do a whole series on that, so I've been going through that. I did how Christianity ended slavery, how Christianity saved children, the human rights video, and then I've got another one coming out, how Christianity educated the world, how Christianity created science is currently in the works. So that's what we got coming out, because David Wood told me to do that series. AP, if someone you knew told you that they were thinking about becoming a Muslim, what would you say to convince them to convert to Christianity instead?
I would probably go up to them and tell them and hand them the Quran and tell them to start reading it. I'm not going to say anything weird, man. Why are you laughing? And just ask them to read the beginning of the second chapter, which is the beginning of it, and would probably ask them if they really think that this is the way Allah, the Almighty Creator, the most merciful, most compassionate, most awesome, would talk to people in order to convince them, because it just starts immediately threatening people. And then I would probably give them, I don't know, the Gospel of John instead, and tell them to compare these two. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah, you just go to the Quran where it affirms the Gospels, and you just run the Islamic Dilemma, man. It's so easy to do that. It starts to mess with people's brain. I've seen it happen in real time. I showed my friend the Men of the Al Zut video, and he said that now he wants to start a band called Ride. Oh my gosh.
Why
Oh,
a band? Nah. Maybe a song. don't get a whole band called Ride the Prophet. Come on.
So how did you guys come up with that band name? Well, it's a long story.
Hey, you can The whole band could all be parody songs like "Zoot gon' give it to you, gon' give it to you." I don't know.
That was a creepy song. When Muhammad slept with his 9 wives in one night, what if it was actually with the Al-Zut, but he was hallucinating the entire time?
Oh man!
I mean, keep in mind, as weird as that, you do have the passages that say Muhammad would sleep with all 9 of his wives in one night. You also have the hadith that would say Muhammad imagined he had done a thing that he hadn't actually done, and his wives are confused when he said he was having sex with them, and he wasn't. You could actually combine those things and say something like that. I mean, and you Muslims will say, but you don't have a hadith that specifically says, but come on. I mean, didn't Sheikh Yasser Qadhi say the hadith are notoriously
Sure did.
can't be confirmed academically? And so anyway, kind of do what you want.
Yeah. Daniel's argument, David Wood, more like David Chaid.
David Jude.
Jude. I didn't know what he was trying to go with that. Muslims realizing the Injeel in our Bible must feel like when the Goonies found the treasure at the end of the movie. Perhaps the real Injeel was the friends we've made along the way.
But the friends we made along the way.
Some idea how Muslims read the Quran in Arabic but don't speak or understand Arabic. It's like they're programmed to just reiterate something without actually understanding what they're saying. Yeah. Haqiqatjou is paid by Mossad to make Islam look bad. There are Muslims who say that. There are actual Muslims, legit Muslims who say that he is like a paid shill. I've seen it on X.
He's doing a bang-up job, worth every penny. Worth every penny.
I agree.
They're like, listen, your job this time is to go in and debate. And
change
the topic. First, you must get crushed on the Islamic dilemma to expose Islam. After that, debate which religion respects Jesus more, and then just whine about Jews the entire time, and then start whining like a baby, so you make your entire position look extremely stupid and pathetic and insane. Okay, I'll do it.
The real dilemma lies in whether it was Momo or what is that? I thought it was splitting the moon. Also, Exodus 13 proves Jews have always had space lasers. That's very true. That's what Billy Carson would say. This is an all-star lineup. You bet it better believe it is. Yes. This guy is gonna. Why do you all talk about Unitarian, Black Hebrew, Israelite, Mormon Pride Month activists, cat lovers, and not a preterist?
What?
Exactly. I have no clue either. Hate to beat a dead horse here, but I was personally disappointed that Muhammad's eloquence in Sunnah Abu Dawud 203 was not brought up in the Q&A. Is that the eyes or the leather strap of the anus, perhaps?
Someone did bring it up in a Q&A of one of the regular presentations at the conference. So
is that
it got brought up, just not at the debate.
Yes. Yeah, that's what
it's a powerful argument, though. Should be used more.
I think David won the Jesus debate when someone in the Q&A asked Haqiqatjou if Muhammad is more important than Jesus, and he said, yes, that's a golden question. Yeah, he conceded the debate, basically, at that point, for sure. Yeah, David demolished Daniel, the Peter file advocate. The Peter file. For IP, God Logic, and Chris, where do you guys stand on the historical versus legendary Muhammad debate? Did either of you watch Spencer debate Mary on the topic? I tend to think he was a real historical figure. I'm going to have Jay Smith on the channel soon just to talk about some of the issues with the Quran. But I don't think Muhammad never existed. I think he was a real person. It's obviously not the Muhammad of the Hadith. That's an exaggerated legend. But I think there was a real historical figure.
So to me, I just think that it depends on what you mean by Muhammad. Like none of us agree that the Muhammad, like you said, IP, none of us agree that Sunni traditions or whatever actually portray him correctly. So if that's what you mean by Muhammad, then no, he isn't a historical person.
What did you see, Avery?
I'm reading the Hadith, bro. Sunnah Abu Dawud 203.
Oh yeah, come on, man. Eyes are the leather strap of the anus, man. You know that. Everybody knows that the eyes are the leather strap of the anus.
And only such an eloquent prophet could come up with such a line. Okay, only.
Someone made Avery finally look up the verse.
Avery, do you know why we brought that up? Is that David Wood and I were responding to Muslims trying to say Muhammad is in the Song of Solomon 5:16, and they were saying like his mouth is most sweet, and we were like, oh, well, let's look at what he said, and David pulled that up, and it was like, yeah, look how sweet his mouth is, boy.
Oh my gosh. There's no possible way people could take this seriously. Oh man. And he says because of this, whoever sleeps should perform at
What? That's what's funny. See, if you just said that, that would be one thing. But when you're the guy who's bragging that you have supernatural eloquence that can only come from God, and then you say things like that, my goodness.
So wait, what? Let's break this down, please. What does it mean that the eyes are the leather strap of the anus? What does it mean?
AP first tried to explain it to me, and I kind of didn't get it, and I actually had to go through the notes and stuff like that in there on the various versions of the Hadith to actually figure it out.
The heck does that mean, man?
So what it means is so back in the day, in that time, you usually have a
water bottle.
Imagine a water bottle, and the lid of it is attached through a leather strap.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the lid is attached. When you go to sleep and close your eyes, the leather strap
is loosened.
Is loosened because your eyes are no longer in control. You are sleeping.
So the bottle will leak. The bottle can leak.
Yes. So when your eyes are the leather strap that keep the lid on your butt, on your anus, and
someone's going to compare this to Alsace, I swear.
It might happen that while you're sleeping, you might fart.
Or worse, something else might come out in your sleep, right? Because you don't know. So the idea, Avery, is when you're awake, you have conscious control over what comes out of your butt. Yeah. Maybe not what goes into it if you're Muhammad in the middle of it, but you have conscious control. You can control yourself and maybe not let something slip out by accident, right? But so it's like you have the bottle sealed. You have the bottle sealed. But when you go to sleep, you lose that conscious control, and it's like the leather strap comes off the bottle, and you can't control what leaks out. And therefore, just to take precautions, wash your rear end when you wake up. Muslims will look at that and say, "What's wrong with washing your bottom? Well, there's nothing wrong." It's like, that's not the point, guys. He claims that he's been given like the best way of communicating, and that is the dumbest way I've ever heard of communicating anything ever, apart from Allah trying to tell us that our book's been corrupted by constantly affirming our book.
That's crazy.
Wow. Hey, Muslim, hang on. Muslims could actually use that as a defense. Say, wait a minute. If this is what supernatural eloquence means in Islam, which we can see by Muhammad being supernaturally eloquent and making a point in the dumbest way possible, then obviously in Islam, the ideal is making a point in the dumbest way possible. And that's what comes from Allah. And so we should expect Allah to make his point about the Quran's position on the Bible in the absolute dumbest way possible, namely by saying the exact opposite of what he means. I think it all ties together now. Sorry.
This kind of reminds me of Saint John Chrysostom. He's called Chrysostom because Chrysostom stands for golden mouth because of his awesome rhetoric and his eloquence. That's what people called him. Compare that to Muhammad now.
Avery, what are your final thoughts on all the everything we just discussed?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I almost said my shahada.
That needs to be in a video. We need vocab as Prophet Muhammad, and he's talking to the Arabs, and he says, and people are like, "We don't know if we should believe in him." He says, "Put the eyes at the leather strap of the anus." And they're like, "Oh, this is the proof."
And there's one guy who's like, I've always had this problem when I go to sleep. And he's like, and now I've heard this.
Answer. the bottle is like, you see? Oh my goodness. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to show this hadith to my brother, man. He needs to see it. My brother needs to see this breakdown.
The whole world needs to see this.
Everyone needs to know about the leather straps. Yes, it's Anyway, Tommy says, "Hi, I first heard of you IPs. A big fan on Dr. Max Bartner's podcast On the Way. I'm actually the editor. We'll appreciate it. Yeah, that was a big honor to be on his podcast because he was a real scholar. He wanted to interview me on the reliability of the Gospels. So Muslims should check that out because we got a lot of evidence for the reliability of the Gospels.
Dope.
Yeah. Have you ever done a Torah only Islamic dilemma, since Jesus confirms the Torah and we know what the Torah is at its time? Yeah. Avery's done something like that, haven't you?
Yes, 100%. What is the Torah? It actually started off before there was a what is the injeel. I was asking what is the Torah, and so but the what is the injeel just became like the popular thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's even harder for Muslims to get around, because the Torah, like we know the Torah, it's singular. And they twist and they try to play with the gospel, and they're like, well, there's 4 gospels, not just one. But they can't do it with the Torah. It's even harder for them when it comes to that, to get out of that dilemma. Yeah. May the face of God.
Shake and bake, man.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize it. I just got to say, I love when God logic goes full shake and bake. Keep fighting the good fight, brothers.
Yes, sir.
Hey, did you clip the scene from, what is it? Talladega? Is it Talladega Nights with the shake and bake? When they're yelling shake and bake?
No.
You got to do that.
You got to cut that, man. Shake and bake. Put it on your soundboard. Shake and bake. Shake and bake. Classic.
Got to do that. Yeah.
I actually got to get my soundboard together. I got this whole Stream Deck thing, but I gotta hook it up.
Yeah. Says, may the face of God shine on you guys. The knowledge I've gained allows me to refute every Muslim I've ever encountered thus far. That's what we want to hear. Yes. You see, David Wood got destroyed. So totally did. Did my first face-to-face gospel share yesterday to 2 hijabi women in a cafe. I'm an ex-Muslim. Was nervous. Started with, can you tell me how Islam was introduced to you? Ended with a number swap. X. Yes.
Awesome.
Very good. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Good stuff, sis. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Get him out. Get him out.
She's she's solid too. Like, she doesn't play games. She's almost kind of like a DOC, Daughter of Christ, Jai's wife. She's legit, knows the language and everything. I like her.
Good. Yeah, we need more people like that doing apologetics and evangelism. Thanks, AP and David Wood, for talking with me and students at the conference. They all said it was the best night of their life on the drive home. Giving IP money to show my appreciation. David Wood, for a real great job. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Amen.
Awesome.
What did you think of Muhammad's nephew? Was that came up in the debate, didn't it? Yeah, Ibn what is it?
Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas is not his nephew. Yeah, I wasn't pointing things out like that. I was trying to stick to the arguments, but yeah, he called Ibn Abbas Muhammad's nephew. Muhammad did not have a nephew.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wait. Daniel Haqiqatjou said that?
Yeah, he said it in the debate. Yeah.
Ibn Abbas is his cousin, and Daniel called him his nephew, and so people are calling into question how much he actually knows.
Hey, this is kind of funny to me, because I remember a long time ago when I first was introduced to Farid, when Farid first made a response video in response to me many years ago, before he started his whole channel. He made a video in which he was trying to prove to Muslims that I don't know anything about Islam. He took then an example where I am in a video saying, so in this hadith we see that Ali said this and this, and then this other guy said this and this, and by this other guy I was referring to Ibn Abbas. He took that as an example for me not knowing who Ibn Abbas is, because I said, and this other guy, and was thereby trying to prove that I don't know anything about Islam. So now take that, and within that context, think about Daniel Haqiqatjou falsely identifying Ibn Abbas. I think that means Daniel Haqiqatjou doesn't know anything about Islam.
That's true.
By the way, I mean, anyone can make videos about some of this stuff. So that could be a video. When he said Surah 2 verse 85 was about previous generation. I mean, my goodness, go to any. We know exactly what that was about, right? And I pointed that out. But then I pointed out that the early verses of Surah 3 are about the Christians of Najran. Like, who? I understand lots of people don't know that, but if you're a Dawah guy who's been studying Islam for years, I mean, that's not terribly advanced knowledge that's what that chapter is. And give me any source on that. Pick a commentary. Pick any commentary, and pick one. Name one. I won't even look. I won't even look, Daniel. You name a commentary right now, and we'll go to it. Anyway, weird stuff, man.
He said, David, you should write a book on the Islamic Dilemma. I promise I'll translate it. Yeah. If you want to, you should totally do that. If you want help, I'll help you do it, because I think
you'll finish.
Help. Yeah.
But you'll finish.
Muslims don't seem to understand that the Islamic dilemma doesn't actually care if the Torah and gospel are true or not. The dilemma comes from the fact that the Quran does believe they are. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. I learned that Haqiqatjou had a minor in college. Yeah, he minored in philosophy, I think.
Oh, no, that's not. That's,
get it?
You get it, right?
Read it more carefully.
That's intentional, right?
Read it more
Oh,
carefully.
yeah. Now I get it. Good. Gross. Yeah.
Very mean. Very mean.
So, my mind isn't naturally that dirty. I'm just like,
College.
Original Quran, only Christians. Yeah. Yes. And are the rabbi is radar apologetics. The men of Al-Zut. How to win at Chris's Mubahala game. Answer on Chris's stream. Live Islamic Dilemma. David Wood versus Daniel Haqiqatjou 2025. Excellent.
At the 312 mark.
312 mark. Yeah. David, do you have any published books other than Chapters and Evidence for God?
Yeah, I had a chapter in another book.
You got a chapter in J.P. Holdings' book. Trusting the resurrection book, defending the resurrection.
Oh yeah, that and and there was another one. It was on philosophical stuff, and I had a chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I remember.
When I see a white dude like a Muslim questioning David Wood, my first thought is this guy an ex-con? Thanks, guys, for everything you do for Christianity. Thank you. Finish IP says IP and David are making fans in Finland.
Nice.
Excellent. Thank you. Keep spreading the good news. Finish IP.
I just realized what that comment was. So, like, about the game thing, I was thinking, what is that in reference to? I gave the answer to how to win the game on that live stream at that timestamp, I think.
Well,
I think
we don't want to cheat, man. We don't want to cheat.
Yeah, I said no one's going to look at this because I don't want anyone to know how to win the game. So I'll just say it here. And only a few select people will know. But this guy's obviously trying to get the word out, which is not cool. I'm after you now.
Someone just said I wrote a book with Matt Slick on Islam. I think I did a series of interviews with him, and then some of that was turned into a book, something like that.
Libiano, that's the Orthodox Muslim, trying to blow up like Avery because he misunderstood what Islam asked of him. It said blow up Christian, not blow up Christian like Christian Avery.
Misunderstood the assignment.
I bet $5 Orthodox Muslim won't show. I think he will. I'll take that bet for sure. I think he's announced it. He's come here. I think it would not look good if he backed out. The new Al-Zut gloss. Oh my God.
You guys are messed up, man.
That's good.
Messed up. The Orthodox face Muslim. David wants an Al-Zut cheer squad at debates. Yes, totally.
No, I was just saying, if I wanted to, he basically explained that he can't deal well with people in the audience who are messing with him. I don't want to see that in debates, but it's like, if you're going to be screaming insults at the audience, why are you going to object if they're messing with you in return? Quit being a baby.
No, I think he likes it when the audience is on his side. I kind of got that impression when I debated him, because when I made the audience laugh, it looked like it visibly affected him.
Yeah, you can see on the video he visibly gets disturbed by it. But the thing is also here, it's very clear in the clip that we just that we watched, where he asks people if they have ever seen a Muslim, burn a Bible or throw it on the ground or something like that, and the audience then objects to it. He asks the audience. When the audience then responds to him, not in the way he expects them to respond, he then accuses the audience of being of going wild and being angry. He clearly has a big problem with that.
I also couldn't help but notice the Predator laptop is no longer there. He now has a different laptop.
The Predator laptop is basically the Orthodox Lips Muslim picture, which is about to change, right? That's the point. If we want to draw attention to something, you guys have to change the stuff because you can't handle criticism.
Let's all keep track of Orthodox Muslim in his profile picture.
It's Orthodox. It's Orthodox Lips.
Orthodox.
Orthodox Lips, Flippy.
That name's gonna stick. Watch.
I,
I did not expect that to happen today. But Ash says, Orthodox Muslim, Jesus Christ, your Lord and your God is waiting patiently for you, not too late, praying for you. That's great to hear. And again, we are
When
not.
did you become a Christian, Ash? When did it happen?
Was he not?
No, I think he was. I think I saw a video of him where he said, "Here is why I can't become a Christian," or something like that. It's very interesting. I think he recently actually started identifying as a Christian. I am interested, so I want to maybe have a conversation with him, invite him on here.
You should.
He has a channel of like 8,000 subscribers or so.
Doesn't
cool.
he,
Yeah.
Isn't that the same guy that goes against?
He just said he
Orthodox?
just responded recently.
Oh, recently he said, "Okay, yeah, nice, nice.
Oh, yeah. She said,
Congratulations."
woo! That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
amazing to hear.
Bless
Yeah.
me.
Smart. Power move. Power move.
I gotta get going, guys. I love each
Cool.
and every one of you, man.
How dare you?
Thank you so much for
run.
letting me on, man.
He's running.
Absolutely. We'll see you in New York soon. I'll be there.
Yes. All right, guys. Y'all peace out.
God bless you,
Yeah,
Avery.
man.
Take care, man.
Take care.
What was I going to say? Yeah. And of course, yeah, I totally agree with this. We're all just joking around, but we do love every single Muslim and pray they come to Jesus.
Someone just messaged me saying, "I have no idea how you're gonna get to work." Like, you know, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. You need to take off too, because it's like super late over there. I'm surprised you're.
No, it's okay. I don't have work tomorrow, so
Okay.
So this is one of those moments I can make this work. So it's all good.
John 17:21 is usually used to counter the Trinity. Yeah, I think this is just misunderstanding. That's the one where it says they may be one just as you, Father, are in me and I in you. They may also be in you, so that the world may believe that they have sent me. Yeah, isn't this used by the Orthodox Church to support theosis, for example? That like we are meant to become like God in a lot of ways.
Which verse is that?
That is Jesus is praying to the Father, and he says that they may all be one, just as you, Father, are in me and I in you, that they may also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me.
Might be. I don't know enough yet.
Whenever I've looked at the commentaries on it, I've always been like, yeah, this is not an issue at all, but I don't have them off the top of my head. Where is the more handsome member of IP? Yeah, he's taking the night off because we had a full lineup tonight. Than will be with me on Thursday when we look at Islam. We're bringing a scholar on, David, again to look at Muhammad being predicted in the Torah, because it's always hilarious when you just watch their reaction, like this is their argument. Like, so we're doing that again. Yeah.
Oh, just so everyone knows, we'll be doing a lot of that next year.
Good. Yes, for sure. Laura Logan.
You're right. John 17:21 is one of the verses that is used.
Yeah,
as an example of theosis. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I don't understand that's an issue. They just don't understand the Trinity or Christian theology. So Laura Logan, CNN journalist that was raped in Egypt, was on Timcast. She was super based on Islam, shared how the oldest building in Iraq is synagogue. Yeah. You guys should maybe do that.
Really?
Hey, we might want to review that, AP.
Might want to look in there. Might want to look at. Hey, speaking of the wait. What was the question? What was the other one? About the theosis thing, and you said Muslims don't understand. There was an example of that during the debate. I don't know who it was, but a Muslim came up. I think it was during the second debate, but a Muslim came up and asked you, David, about how can you claim that Christianity respects Jesus when when Christianity describes that Jesus was accursed or something like that. I think something along those lines was the question, where he clearly does not understand Christian language. He was. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? There was one of those instances. So he said
it had to be the second debate.
Yeah. But do you not know? How can you say that? How can you say that Christ took the curse upon him? That means you're insulting Jesus. How can you say
so the idea is, hey, which religion's being more respectful? But Christianity teaches he's accursed, right? Like, I mean, I said it in my conclusion of the debate. Islam and Christianity agree that Jesus is sinless. Both agree, unless you go to teachings of Muhammad, who says that Jews and Christians will pay the price for the sins of Muslims in hell. But if you're going with the Quran, that the only person who could bear the burden of another person's sins would be someone who is sinless. And therefore, the message of Islam is that the one person who could bear the burdens of others didn't do it. And the message of Christianity is that the one person who could do it did, but that's connected to Jesus being cursed. So you're basically saying that Christianity is disrespectful towards Jesus by saying that the one person who could take on this curse and pay the price for the sins of others, he did it. And that's disrespectful to say that he did. I mean, that's like saying, like, hey, this guy threw himself on a grenade to save everyone around him. And so you're disrespecting him by saying that's like this. It's something weird. They have a weird mindset.
He really AI generated those lips, man. I'll tell you. Please use the line in the debate. I know you must get this a lot, but that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Yes, I'll remember that. Based on 1 John 4, based on 1 John 4:8 is God's love energy essence. I don't think it's either. I think that's just a category issue. I think, but I'd have to think more about that to know for sure. Salam al-Masai was a powerful Masih. Yeah, I always am butchering these because I'm just bad with pronunciation, but it was a powerful panel. God bless you all. It's good to hear. Been a crazy week. So glad it ended with this live. Yep, good to have you here. Best part was when the cousin marrying polygamist tried to say the Quran shares a similar theme of chastity. Oh yeah.
Did you just wait? Was there a super chat that said Isa Kabir is a super member? That's what I just saw that you flashed briefly on the screen.
Isa Sabir.
No?
I don't think so. No.
Isa Kabir. You did show it on the screen. That's Isa.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Isa.
Isa.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Isa's a really, really great guy.
Yeah, he's
giving you in prayers, man.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, everyone pray for him. He well, I don't know if he wants to share. I think he'd be fine with it. Yeah, he broke his leg recently, and so it's recovering and stuff. So
yeah, pray for him.
It looked extremely painful. So.
And Isa, you as a channel member, if you go to my channel, go to the post section, there is a link there for the new video for all channel members, how Christianity created human rights. If you're interested, you can watch that right now. It's currently available for all channel members and Patreon supporters, donors, the like. So, but yeah, for sure. Pope Leo 7 and 17, Rome, Constantinople, and all the other sees are not called to vie for primacy, lest we risk finding ourselves like the disciples arguing about which of them is the greatest. Link in chat. Thank you. I don't know. In the Quran, it says, no soul will bear the burden of another sin, but you got Sahih Muslim 2767. So as a Muslim, which one are you supposed to believe? Or which one are you supposed to believe?
Yeah, that is a serious issue. So just so everyone knows what we're understanding, kind of just touched on it, but the Quran says repeatedly, no bearer of burden shall bear the burden of another. It's talking about like a burden of sins. And Muslims will read that. Muslims will understand no bearer of burden shall bear the burden of another, as no one can bear another person's burden. And it's not what it says. No bearer of burden. In other words, no one who already has a burden of sin can bear the burden of another. So you have verses like that, but then the Quran's not consistent. It will say that some people will bear the burdens of others. So for instance, false teachers who lead other people astray will also bear the burden of the people they lead astray and so on. But then you get to the hadith, and Muslims could use this. And I don't know, I mean, Quran only Muslims could use this. You have multiple Sahih narrations. They meet all the requirements of Sahih narrations. You have multiple ones where Allah is going to punish Jews and Christians for the sins of Muslims in hell. Every Muslim is going to be given a Jew or a Christian at the judgment and say, this is your ransom. Allah's going to put your sins on this Jew or this Christian. So it's like, okay, either Muhammad's completely contradicting the Quran. So why are you believing in Muhammad? Or there's some way of reconciling them. So please explain how to reconcile them. Or you just can't trust the hadith, and it's a garbage system.
Yeah, Avery and I just used that on a guy that came on his channel last Wednesday. He came and said he was a Muslim, and by the end, we were talking about that. We talked about that one specifically. By the end, he was asking for what church to go to. So those are useful for that. Yeah. So yeah, his name was Isaac. So keep Isaac in your prayers. And Isaac, if you're watching, I hope you do find a good church and go there. And we will keep praying you become a Christian very soon and are baptized soon.
But why did Isaac marry a 3-year-old?
It's the end that proves Christianity is false. Join IP's Discord. There's a Minecraft server. That's news to me. I didn't know that Than set that up. So yeah, there's now a Minecraft server apparently on our Discord server. Yay. When will you guys have free halal pork barbecue in front of a mosque and then record it?
Never.
Yeah.
I have no problem messing with Muslims who are being evil and crossing serious lines, but if it's just a Muslim going to the mosque, I'm not gonna do anything.
Totally agree. Yeah. The Islamic Dilemma is a super strong argument, but the story of the Al-Zut is a much funnier argument. I showed my cell lead and he laughed so hard he turned beet red and was crying. It is hilarious. I love that their response to this is, no, that was the night of the jinn. The jinn were riding the prophet. Don't you get it? Okay.
Yeah, keep in mind, jinn are physical beings in Islam. So either they're riding, and so it's not making it any better. But Raymond Ibrahim also pointed out that one of the meanings of the word there is possessed. So it can mean possessed. And so, okay, so they were either, if it's jinn, then they were either doing what we think the Al-Zut were doing to him, or they possessed him, and so that's
a lot of possession. Yeah.
They say it's
they possessed him. All right.
They try to say it's crowding him, and I'm just like, listen, if you got to make this into a supernatural event to escape the obvious, natural interpretation, you got some problems.
I'm just, it's good I'm Christian, because if I were an atheist and a porn producer, you can make a really creepy movie out of that. Oh my goodness.
I think the hadith have as much historical validity to them as if someone handed me a copy of Dragon Ball Z and said that the events in them were real. The way Muslims write about him in the hadith, he might as well have been Goku. Yeah, it's
Dragon Ball Z was real.
Was.
I don't remember Goku having a leather strap, but maybe I missed that.
Good point.
Yes, Muhammad's mouth was so sweet to the Al-Zut, I bet. Oh, man. Gross. Whenever I have a few beers, my wife understands why the leather straps of the anus. Thanks for the laughs tonight. Best way to start the week. Muhammad has his leather strap loosened that night in the desert. How can people take Islam seriously? They just come in. They never stop. Daniel got hit by an Al-Zut pain train in the debate. Zut, zut.
What if we start doing the Zoot train? Zoot, zoot.
I was going to say zoot.
Muhammad said, all aboard the Zoot train. Zoot, zoot. Oh, man.
Oh, it's so gross. What is the most effective way to respond when Muslims attempt to rebut an argument by saying it's impossible for non-Arab readers to accurately understand the Quran? Then their God is I just say their God is so incompetent he can't make it available in translations. What? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, two things. So yeah, one is what IP just said. If Islam is the religion for all people, why did Allah, the creator of the universe, make it so that it can only be understood by people who understand the language? Why wouldn't he make it so that anyone could understand it? So that's one. Number two, it completely refutes what the Quran says. According to the Quran, Allah sent prophets to all people, to every group of people in their language. He said he only sends a prophet to people in their language. What's that mean? If the Quran is sent to people in Arabic, then it's meant for people who speak Arabic and not meant for everybody. That's, by the way, is actually the position of the Quran. That's why when the Jews come to Muhammad to judge a dispute, Allah says, what are you doing coming to Muhammad? You've got your own book. You've got the Torah. Christians, you judge by the gospel. The idea of the Quran is you judge by the revelation that was given in your language. The Quran even says that the reason Muhammad was sent to the Arabs is because the Arabs needed a revelation in their own language. You can't depend on someone else. So think about it. It's actually, I mean, we don't agree with that. We believe that things can be translated and so on. But the Quran's making a point here that if you have no idea what's in someone's book and you're just relying on what people say about it, how do you know that person's not lying about it or something like that? And therefore, each group needs a revelation in their own language, and the Quran was given to Arabic speakers so that they can understand a revelation and not have to depend on what Jews and Christians are saying, but they can't read it for themselves because they don't know the language. So yeah, the simple answer is, hey, if Islam is the religion for all people, why is his revelation only able to be understood by people who speak a particular language? You want to go into more detail, check out my video, why Allah revealed the Quran in Arabic, or why the Quran is revealed in Arabic, or something like that.
Yeah, great video. I enjoy that one. Why do atheists, skeptics think Christians doing a bad thing makes Christianity bad? It aligns with our theology of human nature and sin. This isn't a perfect world that God seeks to eventually get to. It's just an attempt to try to dismiss everything we say by poisoning the well. It's an odd argument. It doesn't work because we don't have verses like you have in the Quran where you are the best people Allah has raised up. And if you reject the Quran, you're someone without reason. Surah 3:7. We don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Student Al Diddy 203. The hands are the whoa Mo. What are you doing? It was written by D.L. Al-Kalbi.
Narrated by Abu Hanifa. So.
Mike Winger has been researching the Islamic Dilemma and is going to put out a 5-part comprehensive series quoting and praising David's work. Yes, he better.
Yep. Mike Winger's version would be like, it's like in Star Wars Return of the Jedi, right? It's pointing back to the previous movies like Star Wars A New Hope and Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, without saying that those movies have been corrupted. And so he's going to have something like that, and it might work for a couple of nerds at a Star Trek or Star Wars convention or something like that, but not going to be very effective. Sorry.
Who was it? Eric that asked the debate for you, the question in the debate for you, AP?
Well,
Somebody asked us to pull up Eric's question in the debate.
No, that wasn't the AP question. That's Eric right there.
Oh, someone asked him to pull this one up.
The Torah and the gospel are with the Jews and Christians, but what do they avail of them?
We'll go to the next one.
I believe in you and in the one who revealed you. No connection to Allah.
Okay, 3 quick questions for Haqiqatjou, and believe me, this will be
Oh, yeah.
Question 1. Who
Eric's burning him up here.
Islam is Jesus or Muhammad? Or they're the same, according to you?
No, Muhammad is respected more.
Okay, Muhammad is respected more than Jesus in Islam. Okay. Which is a higher position of respect? A prophet, Muhammad, or Allah?
Allah is the creator.
He just lost right there.
Yeah.
One who's worshipped. We don't worship.
Daniel didn't get it.
According to Christianity, what are we worshiping? Are we worshiping the creator, Jesus, as a triune God? Is that a true statement? Yes or no?
No, the creator is not a triune God.
Oh God, he
Okay,
doesn't
so
get
your
it.
understanding of Christianity is that we are not worshiping. This is from the Christian perspective.
One question. What are you getting at?
Oh my gosh, he doesn't
These are
get it.
understanding of Christians that we believe that we are worshiping Jesus as God, as the creator of the universe.
Yes, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. So based upon that, which would be a higher position, that of a prophet or that of Allah?
Allah is the higher position.
Oh God.
Thank you.
Yeah. See,
Well, there you have it, folks.
Yeah.
and yeah, Daniel didn't get it. I have to
He
say,
doesn't even get it, man.
yeah, I have to say, in Daniel's defense, this is at the end of a second debate. My brain was kind of fried too.
He
I was
does
having
look
trouble.
dead.
I was also having trouble understanding everything everyone was saying, but I got that point pretty quickly. In fact, that could have been my entire. That could have been my entire opening statement. So yeah. So for anyone who's not clear on this, because Daniel didn't understand it. The debate topic is which religion respects Jesus more, and he just buried Daniel with 3 questions. So, who in Islam, who's respected more, Jesus or Muhammad? He said Muhammad. Who's respected more, a prophet or God? He said God. And then, are Christians viewing Jesus as God? Well, then you'd be respecting him more than as a prophet, and therefore Christianity would respect Jesus more than Islam, and so it would have been done.
So you can see
It's just so obvious. I guess when he was preparing for the debate, I don't know if he did say that he was preparing for the debate and he was researching the topic, but then he came across all these other things, so he decided to take the angle of talking about Jews instead. But it's pretty obvious to me that I don't know, as he thought this through, maybe he realized, okay, I can't really make a point here. I can't really make a proper point. It's quite obvious that Christianity respects Jesus more respectfully. Whatever point I make will be moot, will be stupid. So he decided to just deflect and make the whole debate about Jews and the Talmud. And by the way, IP, please play the part of timestamp in the second debate, hour 1:09.
1:09. Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. I forgot about it. What is it? 1920?
192.
1902.
I see the timestamp right there.
Now, I want to give everyone a context here. Prior to this, Daniel Haqiqatjou spent quite some time arguing that that David will not admit here in front of an audience, or will not answer the question, are Jews saved if they do not believe in Christ? He made his whole point about this. He put it on a slide. He said, I will ask him the question, are Jews saved, yes or no? And he will not answer, you see. He will not answer it. Now play it.
Jesus said, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. No one is getting to Jesus. No one is getting to the Father except through Jesus. So do Muslims need the gospel? Yes. Do Jews need the gospel? Absolutely. Everyone needs the gospel. Now, as far as me not being completely enraged.
Now pause. Now go forward to 1:10:50 or something like that.
Second rebuttal. So these would be 8 minutes each instead of 12. Daniel, ready when you are. Okay, ready now. So David says he hopes that these Jews repent. That wasn't the question. The question was, can you be saved and be considered a good person if you are constantly blaspheming Jesus? And so
is he stupid? Yes, he did answer the question, Daniel. Open your ears. Take the leather straps off your ears. This point.
You see how pointless it is to debate this guy, right?
Yeah, David clearly answered the question. Jews need to be saved. They're currently not. His whole nonsense in the opening statement that, Christians believe Jews are saved just because they're Jews, complete nonsense. Complete, utter nonsense that he's getting by misconstruing what this one group called the dispensationalists argue, which I don't think any of us are dispensationalists.
Actually,
if you let him play, he will even say that he will even continue claiming that David will not say this because he doesn't want to upset his sponsors or something like that.
Hey,
insulting him.
What spot? The only thing you can consider a sponsor is that I promote Arts of Boxes here and there because I think it's awesome that they help Christian and Jewish shops and so on in Israel.
Chris, you want to
David, it's funny. They know I'm a Christian. They're happy I'm a Christian. Even I don't. It's weird
I was going to say, so we come to touch on it earlier. So the Quran has got all these ecumenical verses in it. But if you think about it, because it says that Jews, which presumably is rabbinic Jews, and Christians, before the Quran was given, they actually do have salvation, then that would mean that you can be a rabbinic Jew, deny Christ, not accept him as a prophet, and get into heaven in the Islamic paradigm, which is, I would say, pretty disrespectful. Just thought, hey, wait, this kind of works with this topic as well.
Yeah, sure does. Yeah, blows up in his face. Yeah.
Yep. There's that.
Oh, wait, I'm hitting the wrong thing. There we go.
Very carefully avoids this question. He avoids addressing it. Why? Because that's going to put him in bad position in hot water with his benefactors, with his patrons. That's the problem that David has here, and I'm going to keep.
David answered the question. David already answered the question.
Daniel, this isn't hard. You use your brain. He answered the question. Jews are not saved if they deny Jesus. Do you need it on a PowerPoint to know the answer? Man,
but he was stammering, he was stuttering. You know, we all saw it. So
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, this is what we're doing. Yeah.
This is the thing. Like, if you're going to prepare that, I'm going to ask him the big question, and I know he will not answer it because he doesn't want to upset people. If you're going to prepare that, at least consider the possibility that your plan might fail, and prepare for that. But he obviously didn't because he's dumb. I'm sorry.
It's
true.
pretty dumb. Someone says that he loves Ash Channel. That's great. I hope AP interviews him soon. Son of a bin. Ever want to just start saying SAW or peace be upon him in Arabic just to mess with Muslims in debates? This guy posted recently one of my favorite comments I've ever seen on my channel. He said this. I love that their response is just, well, our illiterate prophet Muhammad got the contents of the gospel wrong. Therefore, he was obviously talking about something else. That's pretty much their response to the Islamic dilemma at this point.
It is.
You know what my favorite thing, I think one of my favorite parts about the debate was during the first debate, the Islamic Dilemma debate, where Daniel Haqiqatjou says, so are you saying that the Quran is ignorant of the Bible? And you just go, absolutely.
Obviously.
That was pretty good, yeah.
What do you think he was going to say? No! Muhammad was the master of all things biblical. He was a great scholar of the...
Yeah, I couldn't believe that was like his go-to argument. That was also during a part where like he was supposed to talk. He was not supposed to be talking, I thought. I thought that was like his time and he just gave it to you.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. But yeah, I know what he's trying to get at. It's the like on the one hand, you're trying to say that whoever wrote the Quran, Muhammad or whoever you think it is, they obviously had a lot of knowledge about these stories generally. So how can you say that while also simultaneously they made errors? That's what they're trying to get at, but that's obviously not a very good point because first of all, you can make a distinction between the scripture and the oral tradition. You can say, yeah, he knew about the oral tradition. So he knew all these things, roughly speaking, but he didn't know the actual written text. And hence he was able to make mistakes. This blows their mind, but yeah.
It's extremely simple. Muhammad obviously heard things from Christians and Jews and from others, which is why he included those things in his so-called revelations, but was obviously ignorant about much of the Bible and what it is.
And by the way, on this point right here, this ties in really well to IP's video about Occam's razor and this whole issue. Like what's a more obvious explanation that accounts for the evidence that Muhammad is? It's basically what I said during the debate. You've got Muhammad. If Muhammad thinks he's a prophet and he doesn't know what's in the Torah apart from things he's heard, and he doesn't know what's in the gospel apart from things he's heard, but he doesn't know whether the people who are talking are misrepresenting certain things or whether they're representing things accurately and so on. So he thinks the actual scriptures agree with him, but he's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. It fits all the evidence. It explains why the Quran is affirming scriptures that ultimately contradict Islam. It explains everything, does so well, and doesn't require a bunch of extra assumptions. If you go with the Islamic view of all this, you have to start, this means this, and we have to add this, and maybe he means this and this, and then you end up with just tons and tons and tons of gymnastics.
And David, that video you just mentioned is the one that got 500,000 views on TikTok. So nice. I'm glad that was good. Yeah. So here's him trying to get you on this in the debate.
Abraham, there is similarities, but there are key differences. So if the Quran is confirming every single verse and statement within the Bible, and it is contradicting it, are you saying that the Quran is ignorant of the contents of the Bible?
Absolutely.
Then
it's just like, what did he think you were going to say?
Yeah. No.
I've had a sudden change of mind.
Of course not. I would never say such a thing. The Quran
That
is
article-
the Quran is the supreme source of all knowledge about the Bible.
I did think this, but then you showed me the 350 argument, and man, I'm convinced now. So.
Yeah, powerful. Powerful.
That article in Medium tries a bait and switch from interpretation only to interpretation in minor textual variant. Left a full reply on X. I'll check that out. Thank you. If I understand correctly, Allah sends warners revelation in their own language. By that logic, you could argue that Joseph Smith abrogates the Quran, and Muslims need to use the Book of Mormon and the Doctrines and Covenants. Yeah, that would logically follow from their own logic. And what?
No, but by the way, it is this is a serious problem right here. That Allah sends, according to the Quran, Allah sends prophets to people in their own language, what they can understand. And so by the time you get to Muhammad, it's just Muhammad. The Arabs are last. Every other group with every other language has their revelation in their language, and the Arabic speakers are last. Well, guess what? There's a bunch of new languages since then. So what happens? If you say, oh, we all have to go with that. Well, that was the entire point of sending the Quran, according to the Quran, was so that Arabic speakers would have a revelation that they can understand in their own language. What about English? Oh, you have to read it in Arabic. Well, what do you have to do if you don't speak Arabic? You have to just accept what Arabic speakers are saying to you, saying that it means. But how do you know if they're telling the truth or not? That was the point of sending the Quran. You couldn't rely on other people who speak other languages because you don't know what they're misrepresenting and what they're getting accurately. You have to be able to read it for yourself. Well, how then can you say that English speakers and French speakers and so on, Chinese speakers and so on, that they're all supposed to now go to a guy who speaks Arabic to say, what is this? Tell us about God. And we're supposed to just mindlessly believe him. When, guess what? They happen to be the biggest bunch of liars we've ever seen in our entire lives, right? Yeah. The Dawah guys, we're supposed to go to them and listen to them. They're the biggest bunch of liars we've ever seen. Why in the name of common sense would we go to them to tell us about God and just accept whatever they say? It's weird.
Exactly. I get this leftist feeling that it's not about facts, but about rhetoric with modern Islam. It's about converting the lay people, the laymen, with maybe with commonality. Yeah, it's about projecting power and confidence, trying to convince the gullible, not about truth anymore. It's very obvious. Why would God need to create other religions, and how would you convince someone who's a deist aside from using the resurrection argument? Well, God didn't create other religions. There's demonic powers at work. There's people at work as well. That's what we would argue. And also, the resurrection is a great argument, as well as with the reliability of gospels. You can use evidence from modern miracles. We were just talking about that on the channel Thursday. Than made a really good case for a modern miracle of someone who was legally blind who was healed. So I would use that as well.
Hey, earlier somebody asked about Laura Logan. I checked that she was actually a guest on Tim Pool, and I was thinking maybe it would be a good idea to get in touch with her and to try to arrange an interview. Then I saw that she actually follows me on Twitter, so that's very cool.
What?
Cool.
You?
So,
why would she do that? Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. So I contacted her, but also we'll try to get in touch with her otherwise to see if we can make that happen.
Still can't believe a whole chapter of the Quran is dedicated to saying, see, this guy's right here. Screw this guy, with zero context. If the Bible had Abu Lahab, Muslims would never shut up about it. Yeah.
I love this chapter in the Quran. It's brilliant. It is literally just a few lines of, see this guy here? Screw this guy.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, and his wife? Yeah, screw her as well. And it's like, okay, then. All right. Thank you.
There's actually an important point there as well. So you've got the Quran and you've got Quran only Muslims, right? And then you have normal Orthodox Muslims who believe in the Quran and the Hadith and so on. And the problem for regular Orthodox Muslims who believe in other Muslim sources is those sources, they can't stand up to academic scrutiny, right? Sheikh Yasser Qadhi had said our methodology cannot stand up to academic scrutiny. And so you've got a problem. And so Quran only Muslims were cheering for that. Yes, amen. Yeah, just throw all that stuff out. We just go with the Quran. If you just go with the Quran, he's talking about Surah 111 there with Abu Lahab, and the Quran is condemning him. Who is he? You have no idea who this guy is unless you go to these later sources, but these later sources can't stand up to academic scrutiny. So if you're Quran only, you got problems, or if you believe in the sources, you got problems either way. It's weird.
Ash says, why do
So when I heard
comment.
this, when I saw this comment, I said it in your voice AP. You know the thing you do. Wait, it is you, isn't it? It says it. That phrase on the comment.
You talk about the sallallahu
Oh,
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's someone else.
And now I've heard it, I'm always like, that's how I'm going to see it now.
Yeah, it is on my soundboard, but it was actually another guy that I had work with me for the cartoon that we made. So
right.
yeah.
They say Jesus didn't die. He was too holy for that. So God let someone else take the hit. Divine honor by identity theft. Longest fraud case ever. Yes, for sure.
And it's just, you'll have Muslims who don't know what they're talking about say, Jesus never died. God wouldn't allow that to happen to one of his prophets. The Quran is filled with prophets dying over and over again. It talks about people killing the prophets and so on. And then you got the big extra bonus, namely Muhammad died after being poisoned by a Jewish woman. So it'd be another question. Wait a minute, Allah let Muhammad die by being poisoned. All these other prophets he allowed to die, but Jesus rescued. So it's yet another example of why is Jesus so completely unique from everyone else.
Yeah. Daniel seems to be sub 90 IQ. He can't understand things in the abstract.
Oh, he went to Harvard.
Doesn't sell Harvard well. Is the Cyrus cylinder concept of human rights different compared to that of Christianity? I recently stumbled upon something about. Yeah. So I addressed that in my video, how Christianity created human rights. I addressed that in the beginning. That's not laying down human rights. That's a big misconception, and scholars are sick of hearing it. It's not. The Cyrus cylinder does not lay down human rights. So that's addressed in the video. If you sign up to be a donor, you can watch that now and see the response to that. So Patreon link is below, as well as the donor link. You can gain access.
Christianity created human rights, but Islam created rights.
Got him. Would love to hear a Muslim answer to how Muslims would know about the history of the prophets without the Bible and the Torah. Yeah, me too. This is stuff that we asked them, like, how is Jesus the Messiah? And they have to go to the Bible to get reasons for thinking that, because there's nothing in the Quran which tells us why Jesus is the Messiah.
This is why there is a concept in Islam, in Islamic studies, called the Israeliyat, which refers to knowledge that was taken from non-Muslim Jewish and Christian sources, because the early biographers of Muhammad had to write a bunch of things about Muhammad, but they had to, because of the limited knowledge that Islam has, they had to rely on secondary sources from Jews and Christians and their scripture. So they had to adopt lots of information from them, from what the Bible says and from what Christians and Jews say, in order to explain so much of what the Quran tries to deliver, which is why it became its own category of information, the Israeliyat, the Israel-induced knowledge, basically. It's very funny, because Islam is ignorance.
God didn't create false religions, but he allows them. What is the benefit of allowing people to be deceived unwillingly into a false belief? First off, God allows free will. See my video, The Problem of Evil. That's sort of covered under an umbrella. Answering the problem of evil, that's addressed in that as well. I always bring this up. John 9:41, John 15:22. God says, or Jesus says, if I had not come, they'd not be guilty. But now that I've come, they have no excuse. So people are judged based on the information they get. Acts 17:30, in the past, God looked over times of ignorance, but now he calls all men to repent. If certain people are ignorant, they're judged on different information. It's not that they're condemned for being unwillingly deceived. So the Bible does address this.
And Jesus said that about the Jewish leaders and Pilate, that it's basically they know more. So they are going to have a more severe judgment because they were more knowledgeable.
Yeah. Abrahamic religion without any connection to him. That's Islam for sure. Yes. Yeah. So Muslims need the Bible and Torah to know history. Yeah. A lot of the biblical history, they have to rely on a lot of that stuff because the Quran is not like a complete narrative of a lot of these things. It breaks off in certain places. It's like referring to the second Targum of Esther with this weird story of King Solomon and his hoopa birds and his birds dropping stones. And it's getting it from the second Targum of Esther. It's not even in the Bible, so it's incredibly weird. Muslims say it was Judas who died on the cross, and who was in Judas's body? Sounds like Turtles all the way down scenario. Yes, totally is. Powerful. So, All right, I'm going to close this out because I'm exhausted and we've been going for almost 3 hours. So,
But you still have
Yeah.
60 super chats left. So.
no, I didn't. I went through them. I don't know what you're talking about. So, did them all. You should have pointed out 24% are leaving Islam. Yeah, what is it? You have Muslim youth. It's 24%.
Yeah, just Muslim youth. Yeah.
You said did them all, but not in the way Muhammad did them all. All Zoom. You can use it. It's like that old D's nuts. You can use it for anything. You can use it in. It doesn't matter what topic comes up. You can anyway.
Oh my God. No, so.
But
All right.
what we have here is the Islamic Dilemma. This will be in the future known about the Quran, that there is in the Quran an Islamic dilemma.
Yes.
It'll be in book form.
David write a book about the Islamic dilemma. It will be called the Islamic Dilemma.
And then we need the Islamic Dilemma study Quran.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That'd be good.
And then we
For
need the
sure.
Mike Winger's commentary on Islamic dilemma.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be live tomorrow on the channel. We're responding to Cameron Bertuzzi. He put out a really video arguing there was an early inscription of Moses. We're going to debunk that because unlike in Islam, we don't just believe everything that supports our side. We critique our own when there's bad stuff out there. So David Folk and I will be doing that tomorrow on the channel. And then on Thursday, I'm bringing on a poor innocent scholar to look at Deuteronomy 18:18 and how Muslims try to argue that that's about Muhammad. And just going to watch him, the soul slowly leave his body as he has to deal with that nonsense. So Muhammad's leather straps are loosened by Al-Zula. And then they go.
Yosef said we need the Al-Zut study. The Al-Zut study Quran is what we need.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, this is getting gross. I'm going to close this out. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the channel. Thanks for coming.
See y'all.
God bless.
You made it to the end of this video, which means this message matters to you. If you want to see more content like this reaching people for Christ, you can help make it happen. Your support makes these videos possible. Click the link below and donate today. And if you want to go even deeper, consider joining our Patreon community. You'll get early access to videos, behind-the-scenes content, and a place to connect with others passionate about this mission.